Chapter 33-28. The Emperor's sealing blood talisman sealed the undying demon emperor for a moment. Dark Ling Xiao, on the other hand, unleashed the infinite destructive power of the infinite demon armor and pierced through the undying demon emperor's body. Scram! An incomparably cold roar erupted from the undying demon emperor's mouth, like thunder shaking the heavens. Rumble! Blazing demonic light rose from his body, causing the heavens and earth to tremble violently. Beams of light seemed to have materialized, dazzling and piercing through everything. The undying demon emperor was like a black divine sun, exuding a monstrous demonic aura. When the beams of light hit the infinity demonic armor, Darkness Ling Xiao felt his body shake violently. It was as if an unparalleled divine power was surging toward him, sending him flying. The Emperor's sealing blood talisman was instantly destroyed. The blazing demonic light was like a torrent, striking the original demon emperor, who was caught off guard. He was sent flying back, with pale golden blood flowing out from the corner of his mouth. So strong! Dark Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with solemnity. The undying demon emperor's power was too terrifying, far surpassing that of the blood-prisoned demon emperor. In front of the undying demon emperor, Dark Ling Xiao felt like a small boat in a storm. If not for the protection of the infinite demon armor, he would have been severely injured by the undying demon emperor. Ha ha ha! Undying demon emperor, you have been severely injured by the infinite demon armor. I would like to see how you are going to survive. Today is the day you die. Although the original demon emperor was coughing up blood, his eyes were filled with killing intent as he sneered. After using the emperor's sealing blood talisman, Dark Ling Xiao had dealt a fatal blow to the undying demon emperor. He believed that the undying demon emperor had been severely injured, and he had achieved his goal. Primordial, you shouldn't have done this. I didn't intend to kill you, but you forced me to do so. The undying demon emperor's eyes were indifferent as he looked at the original demon emperor coldly. Undying demon emperor, don't try to be a hypocrite. You have lived for so many eras, and you know better than anyone how many great emperors you have killed. I didn't want to be your enemy, but the blood-prisoned demon emperor is dead. If I don't take the initiative to attack, I will be the next to die. The original demon emperor sneered. Blood prison was killed by him, right? With the infinite demon armor in hand, killing blood prison wasn't difficult at all. But Primordial, although you are smart and know the principle of striking first to gain the upper hand, you still don't understand one principle. The undying demon emperor said indifferently. Rumble. The hole in his chest that had been pierced by the infinite demonic armor was healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The aura of the undying demon emperor rose as his demonic aura filled the sky. It was as if he wasn't injured at all. A cold killing intent locked onto the primitive demon emperor. That is, the strong are respected. The undying demon emperor's voice boomed like thunder, causing the void in all directions to rumble. How is this possible? You were severely injured by the infinite demonic armor. Even if you are the epic emperor, you should still be severely injured. How can you recover so quickly? Primitive demon emperor trembled, his eyes filled with disbelief. Do you think I don't know that he killed the blood-prisoned demon emperor? Do you think I don't know that you're working with him to deal with me? Do you think I don't know why a divine magus would come to me for revenge? The undying demon emperor said indifferently. The three questions in a row made primitive demon emperor's face change dramatically. I know all about it. But I didn't stop him. If a divine magus came, I would have killed him directly. And, you clown, you even delivered the infinite demonic armor to me personally. Speaking of which, I should be thanking you. The undying demon emperor's voice was incomparably cold, his eyes filled with pity as he looked at primitive demon emperor. What? Primitive demon emperor's face paled, his eyes filled with disbelief. Did the undying demon emperor already know all this? Not only did he know, but he also didn't stop it, allowing it to happen. Hearing the cold and indifferent voice of the undying demon emperor, primitive demon emperor's heart gradually sank to the bottom of the valley. Since the undying demon emperor dared to say so, it meant that he had seen through everything and was confident enough to deal with everyone. Primitive demon emperor suddenly remembered that although he knew that the undying demon emperor was strong, he didn't know exactly how strong he was. He had already overestimated the undying demon emperor, but now, he realized that he had still underestimated him. With Ling Xiao, divine magus, dark Ling Xiao, an original devil emperor, even an ordinary great emperor of an era would be killed without a doubt. Undying demon emperor, what a good trick. You beat them at their own game. Not only did you get rid of the enemy, you also got the infinite demonic armor. I guess the secret of transcendence in my hands was also part of your plan, right? Dark Ling Xiao asked indifferently. No, you're just a bait. I was worried that you weren't strong enough. If you weren't strong enough, I wouldn't be able to make a move when the great emperors were fighting, and I wouldn't be able to lure them out. Luckily, you're strong enough to kill two great monarchs in one move. You're truly a monstrous genius. Because you scared them away, I had the chance to make a move. The undying demon emperor smiled faintly. You think you can defeat us? Darkness Ling Xiao said coldly. His eyes were filled with arrogance and defiance. You can try. Undying demon emperor smiled faintly. He looked at the distant primitive continent with a trace of vicissitude in his eyes. He sighed and said, I've never lost a battle in my life. The only defeat I've ever had was at the hands of the Heaven Emperor. You're strong, but compared to the Heaven Emperor, you're much weaker. Unless the Heaven Emperor comes back to life, you'll die today. The undying Devil Emperor's voice was incomparably calm, but it contained a trace of chilling killing intent and determination. Now, we can only fight to the death. A trace of madness flashed in original Demon Emperor's eyes. I also want to see if he's not afraid of the infinite demonic armor. Darkness Ling Xiao also sneered. What about Divine Magus? Dark Ling Xiao glanced at Divine Magus and asked. Today, either he dies, or I die. Divine Magus's eyes showed no sign of retreating. Instead, they were filled with determination and killing intent. Even though he was easily defeated by Undying Demon Emperor, and even though Undying Demon Emperor was terrifyingly strong, he still chose to fight with all his strength. Then let's fight. Dark Ling Xiao looked at Undying Demon Emperor and said calmly. Very good. If you have the guts, I'll fulfill your wish. Undying Demon Emperor smiled faintly. Rumble. Demon light shone all around, as if ghosts were wailing and wolves were howling, covering the sky and the earth. In an instant, this area of chaotic void was completely shrouded. This was an incomparably strange domain, as if there was no life force. It was filled with a deathly aura, but only Undying Demon Emperor was exuding vigorous vitality. Not good. This is Undying Demon Emperor's undying domain. He's immortal here. Let's get out of here. Original Demon Emperor's face suddenly changed, as if he had thought of something, and instantly became extremely serious. Boom! In his hand, an ancient flag fluttered in the air, emitting chaotic light that seemed to be able to destroy everything. Under Original Demon Emperor's control, the flag was like a mountain, erupting with an extremely powerful Emperor aura, suppressing towards the distance. He was extremely regretful. The Undying Devil Emperor had said so much nonsense in order to quietly draw them into the Undying Domain. The Undying Domain was extremely terrifying. In the Undying Domain, even if Undying Demon Emperor's physical body and primordial spirit were shattered, he would still be immortal. Needless to say, could the four of them really kill Undying Demon Emperor? Even if they killed him once, Undying Demon Emperor would immediately revive, and the four of them would still be the ones to die. Kill! Dark Ling Xiao and Divine Magus didn't hesitate at all. They roared at the same time, their eyes blazing with killing intent as they charged towards Undying Demon Emperor from both sides. What a strange Undying Domain. Ling Xiao wasn't in a hurry to attack. Instead, he used the God's Eye to observe this Undying Domain, and a trace of surprise flashed in his eyes. In Ling Xiao's view, this undying domain was the real undying demon emperor, and the undying demon emperor they saw was similar to a clone. However, this clone was also extremely powerful, probably not weaker than the real undying demon emperor. Even if the clone was destroyed, the undying domain was still undying demon emperor, and he could create more clones at will to fight the enemy. This was the real mystery of undying demon emperor. However, primitive demon emperor was right. Only by breaking the undying domain would they have a chance. However, breaking the undying domain was equivalent to defeating undying demon emperor. How could it be so easy? But, if we can break the undying domain, this undying demon emperor will probably suffer. Ling Xiao thought to himself. Boom! The primitive streamer hacked down, as if it was a chaotic divine light that could split heaven and earth, erupting with endless power, causing the surrounding demonic light to boil and heaven and earth to shake violently. However, such a terrifying power of the primitive streamer seemed to have no effect on the undying domain. It didn't even shake it a bit. Ling Xiao even felt the indifferent and mocking gaze of undying demon emperor. Crack! Dark Ling Xiao and Divine Magus flew across the sky, and their unparalleled fists instantly landed on undying demon emperor's body. However, as if they were trapped in a whirlpool, they couldn't move an inch closer to undying demon emperor. Undying demon emperor's eyes were cold as he slapped out a palm. It was as if a vast black continent was pressing down. Divine Magus raised his fist to block, but his body suddenly trembled and he was directly sent flying, coughing up blood. Although he was also an epic emperor, in front of undying demon emperor, he was like a child, unable to resist at all. Clang! The huge palm slapped on Dark Ling Xiao's body and collided with the infinite demon armor, causing a muffled sound and sparks to fly in all directions. Dark Ling Xiao was also sent flying. Although he was protected by the infinite demon armor and didn't suffer any damage, he still felt his blood surging and his body trembling uncontrollably. If he didn't have the infinite demon armor, this palm would probably have directly blown him into pieces. This undying demon emperor is indeed very strong. Now it depends on whether I have a solution or not. If I don't, I'm afraid today is really going to be a disaster. Dark Ling Xiao sighed softly in his heart. Although he was strong, his cultivation base was only that of a peerless sovereign emperor, and he had yet to become a great emperor. Even if the infinite demon armor could greatly increase his strength, Dark Ling Xiao guessed that his current strength was at most equivalent to that of a peak-level great emperor. After all, even Divine Magus, who had 3 epochs of cultivation base, was no match for undying demon emperor. As for original demon emperor, he was hacking the undying domain with the primitive streamer alone, but undying demon emperor didn't even have the mood to pay attention to him. It was a blatant disregard. Chapter 33-29. The undying territory is extremely powerful. Unless one is far more powerful than the undying demon emperor, it is impossible to break the undying territory. Ling Xiao thought to himself as his eyes shone brightly. But it's not like there's no chance. The only flaw of the undying territory is that the undying demon emperor is overconfident. Because the undying territory is the body of the undying demon emperor, the entire undying territory is his majestic life origin. If I can break the undying territory, I might be able to devour the undying demon emperor's life origin with the help of the life reversing skill. By then, not only will my myriad Dao integration progress further, I might even be able to severely injure the undying demon emperor. Ling Xiao thought to himself. This was the only way out that he had found, but it was also full of danger. If the undying demon emperor was enraged and resisted the life-reversing skill, Ling Xiao would be in danger. He was just a peerless imperial emperor. If he took a blow from a powerful great emperor, his physical body might be destroyed and his primordial spirit shattered. This was the biggest danger that Ling Xiao had faced since leaving Eternal Emperor Road. He clearly knew that the gap between him and the undying demon emperor was enormous, and that it would be extremely difficult to find a chance of survival, but he still wanted to try. Rumble. The undying demon emperor's palm print covered the sky and came crashing down again. This time, it seemed to have covered the entire undying territory. The original Demon Emperor and Ling Xiao were not surprised. The original Demon Emperor's face changed as he desperately activated the original banner. The original banner shone brightly, like a huge mountain, and flew towards the undying Demon Emperor. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he threw out a punch with the sovereign's power that had been integrated in his body. Kacha! Although the origin banner was powerful, it was still suppressed by the undying demon monarch's palm. The emperor's aura was destroyed one after another. In the end, the origin banner let out a mournful wail and was directly sent flying, its radiance dimming. Although the original banner had blocked most of the attack for the original Demon Emperor, he was still hit by the palm wind. His body shook violently, and he coughed out blood. Rumble. Ling Xiao's sovereign's fist erupted with a mighty power that was extremely similar to the infinite devil armor. It directly shattered the undying Devil Emperor's palm imprint. You have already begun the fusion of the myriad Daos. Not bad, not bad. In that case, I want to kill you even more. The undying Demon Emperor stared at Ling Xiao with a hint of surprise in his eyes. His murderous intent was undisguised. You want to kill me? This bit of power is not enough. Ling Xiao said faintly. A sharp light flashed in his eyes and he moved like lightning. Chaotic light gushed out from his body and he threw a punch at the undying domain. After knowing that it was meaningless to deal with the undying Devil Emperor, Ling Xiao's thoughts shifted to how to break the undying domain. He wanted to see if his fist of the ruler of Tao could break the undying domain. You're courting death. The undying Demon Emperor's face was cold, and the demonic light around him surged. In an instant, it turned into a sharp sword light, covering the sky and covering the earth, shooting towards the crowd. The sword power was incomparably sharp, seeming to be able to destroy all living things. Both original Devil Emperor and Divine Magus had their looks changed instantly. Original Devil Emperor forcibly activated the original flag to defend himself, while Divine Magus's body was immortal. He used his body to resist the sword power. His fists glowed with a dazzling light as he rushed up and attacked the undying Demon Emperor. He seemed to have an obsession to kill the undying Demon Emperor. Even though he knew that he wasn't a match for the undying Demon Emperor, he still attacked without fear of death because of his obsession. Dark Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He also gave up on fighting the undying Demon Emperor and rushed towards Ling Xiao. The infinite demon armor burst out with the strongest power, suppressing the undying domain. Rumble. When Ling Xiao's fist landed, there seemed to be endless demonic light. Endless ghostly wails and howls wanted to rush into his sea of consciousness and interfere with his primordial spirit. At the same time, the demonic light in the domain surged, like a boundary, emitting an immortal brilliance. The fist of the ruler of Tao landed and collided with the undying domain. The indestructible undying domain began to tremble violently, as if it had suffered an unimaginable heavy blow. It's working. Ling Xiao's eyes sparkled, and his spirit was lifted. Kill! Dark Ling Xiao roared and punched the spot where Ling Xiao's fist landed. The infinite demon armor pierced through everything and wiped out all the demonic light. Spiderweb-like cracks appeared on the undying domain. At the same time, faint golden blood seeped out. Protect me! Ling Xiao's eyes glowed with a mysterious light. He quickly used the art of reversing fate and slapped on the faint golden blood. That was the undying Demon Emperor's body. The undying Demon Emperor had been injured by him and Dark Ling Xiao. After all, such a huge undying domain meant that the undying Demon Emperor couldn't cover all the positions. Moreover, the power of the ruler of Tao and the infinite demon armor were two mysterious powers that surpassed the power of Earth. Even the undying Demon Emperor couldn't withstand them. Therefore, Ling Xiao immediately used the art of reversing fate and began to devour the undying Demon Emperor's life force. Buzz! Moreover, 3 bright rays of light flew out from Ling Xiao's body. The wordless heavenly book, the fortune jade disc, and the Hong Meng bead were all summoned by Ling Xiao. Although he knew that it would be difficult to resist the undying Demon Emperor's counterattack, he couldn't care less. Dark Ling Xiao's face was extremely solemn. His body flickered with light and his demonic chi surged as if he could destroy the void at any time. He had fully activated the infinite demon armor and was preparing to launch a shocking attack. Idiot! The undying demon emperor's eyes revealed a trace of mockery. Although he was shocked that Ling Xiao and Dark Ling Xiao could shake the undying domain, he was confident that the two of them couldn't escape. However, he didn't expect Ling Xiao to find his real body and sit cross-legged in the void to devour his life force. How powerful was the undying demon emperor's life force? He was confident that even a peerless imperial emperor wouldn't be able to devour all of his life origin even after thousands of years. How stupid was it to try and devour his life essence at the critical moment of a life and death battle? However, the undying demon emperor's expression soon froze. How is this possible? His eyes were filled with disbelief and horror. He felt that the life force in his body was rapidly depleting. In an instant, a large amount of his life force had been devoured by Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's body exuded a mysterious aura that made the great emperors feel extremely unfamiliar. He had accurately locked onto the undying demon emperor's life force and was about to devour him completely. It should be known that the Savage Beast Emperor and the Death Spirit Emperor had died after being severely injured by Ling Xiao and then had their life force forcefully devoured. The domineering and terrifying life-reversing technique was evident. Even the undying demon emperor couldn't devour life force at such a speed. It was even 100 or 1,000 times faster than him. Could it be that this is the true secret of transcendence? The undying demon emperor's body trembled as his heart pounded. Rumble. The undying domain trembled violently as demonic light surged. A huge figure appeared in the void and rushed towards Ling Xiao. The undying demon emperor's true body had appeared. His clone was still suppressing the original demon emperor and the divine Magus, but his true body was now charging towards Ling Xiao. Buzz! The wordless heavenly book, the fortune jade disc, and the primordial bead glowed brilliantly like 3 layers of mysterious barriers, blocking the undying demon emperor's path. A chaos treasure without a spirit dares to show off in front of me? The undying demon emperor said coldly as he slapped his palm. An unparalleled palm print landed on the wordless heavenly book and instantly shattered the first layer of the barrier. Then, he slapped out 2 more times. The fortune jade disc and the primordial bead couldn't stop the undying demon emperor either. Only Dark Ling Xiao was still standing in front of Ling Xiao, his eyes shining with a cold light. Get out of my way. The undying demon emperor's eyes turned cold as he slapped his palm towards Dark Ling Xiao. Although he didn't take Dark Ling Xiao's strength seriously, with the complete infinite demonic armor, Dark Ling Xiao was like a cockroach that couldn't be killed. The undying demon emperor didn't get tired of him. He had originally planned to deal with Dark Ling Xiao at the end. Undying demon emperor, take my punch. Dark Ling Xiao's lips curled into a cold smile. He didn't have the slightest intention of retreating. Instead, he leaped forward and threw a punch at the undying demon emperor. Boom! The fist and palm collided, causing the void to shake violently. Terrifying sound waves spread out, but the undying demon emperor's huge palm print was directly blasted apart by Dark Ling Xiao. The infinite demonic armor turned crimson like blood, like some kind of living creature, and pounced towards the undying demon emperor. The immortal demon emperor's eyes revealed a hint of surprise. However, the demonic light around him surged and the cultivation of dozens of eras erupted. It was as if the immortal power that could penetrate the past and present and destroy the chaos was suppressed on Darkness Ling Xiao's body. Bang! Even with the protection of the infinite demonic armor, Dark Ling Xiao still felt his body tremble violently, as if his internal organs had been shattered. He couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. Without any obstruction, the undying demon emperor arrived in front of Dark Ling Xiao. Feeling the rapid loss of life force in his body, the undying demon emperor didn't panic at all. Instead, there was a trace of blazing light in his eyes. Dark Ling Xiao, I have to say, the secret of transcendence in your body is tempting. The undying demon emperor stared at Dark Ling Xiao in front of him and said slowly. Then, He stretched out his hand to grab Dark Ling Xiao. Boom! But at this moment, there seemed to be a dazzling radiance sprinkling down from the 9 heavens. It was as if a big hole had been broken in the dark sky. Endless radiance bloomed, mysterious and dazzling to the extreme. It was a huge palm print, as if it came from the void. There was no smoke or fire aura, and it directly hit the undying domain. Crack! Like a mirror, the undying domain exploded with a loud bang. And that palm print, as if it had pierced through reality and illusion, passed through time and space, immortal and mysterious, and imprinted on the undying demon emperor's body. The undying demon emperor's body trembled violently, and his physical body was torn apart in an instant. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and his aura instantly became weak. The palm fell, and the undying demon emperor was instantly injured. "It's you. How could it be you?" The undying demon emperor's face changed greatly, and his voice was full of disbelief. Chapter 33:30. Ling Xiao's eyes also revealed a trace of disbelief. He originally planned to use the life-reversing art to plunder the undying demon emperor's life origin, but he didn't expect that at this moment, someone would actually help him. There was no figure in the sky. That palm was mysterious and contained a power that transcended everything. Even Ling Xiao couldn't see any origin, but it severely injured the undying demon emperor. "Celestial Emperor, it can't be you. You're already dead, and there's no corpse left. Who is it that dares to sneak attack me? Get out here." The undying demon emperor's eyes were cold, filled with monstrous anger and killing intent. But after that palm heavily injured him, it seemed to be too lazy to even respond, and disappeared into the void in an instant. "Celestial Emperor." Ling Xiao's body trembled, and a trace of shock appeared in his eyes. The undying demon emperor's senses might not be wrong. If it was really the Celestial Emperor, then it meant that the Celestial Emperor didn't die in that battle, and was still alive? If this news were to spread, the entire primitive continent would probably be in an uproar. The Celestial Emperor was like a totem in the human race. But if the Celestial Emperor didn't die, where was he now? Divine Magus, Primitive Demon Emperor, and Dark Ling Xiao were also incomparably shocked. They thought that they would all die in the hands of the undying demon emperor, but they didn't expect that the palm from beyond the sky would directly injure the undying demon emperor. The undying domain shattered, as if the undying demon emperor's body was torn into pieces, and it couldn't be quickly healed. Life-reversing art. Ling Xiao's eyes were incomparably sharp, and without any hesitation, he continued to use the life-reversing art. While fusing with the great Tao origin in his body, he kept devouring the undying demon emperor's life origin. How enormous was the undying demon emperor's life origin? He had lived for dozens of eras, and in order to survive the great calamity, he kept plundering the life force of other great emperors, and his body contained an incomparably vast amount of life force. Originally, even if Ling Xiao used the life-reversing art, it would be difficult to shake the undying demon emperor's life origin. But now, the undying demon emperor was severely injured, and his body was torn into pieces, and the vast life origin was almost instantly devoured by Ling Xiao. The life-reversing technique was a cultivation technique left behind by a transcendent being. It was incomparably domineering. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the void. Bright light intertwined around his body, and the vast origin of the great path appeared. They were like bright stars that circled around him. Between those stars, there were mysterious lines that connected, and their powers kept fusing, making Ling Xiao's aura stronger and stronger. "Get out of my way." The undying Devil Emperor was both shocked and angry. He didn't expect that after he was seriously injured, Ling Xiao would take advantage of the situation and attack him. Almost 10% of his life force disappeared in an instant. The speed of seizing vitality was too fast. The tyranny of the life-reversing technique had far exceeded the undying Devil Emperor's imagination, causing him to feel fear in his heart. If this continued, it wouldn't be long before his life essence was completely devoured by Ling Xiao. Rumble. The demonic light surged and turned into streaks of black saber light in the sky. They were surrounded by black flames that could incinerate everything. Then, they came down majestically toward Ling Xiao. Devil Sun Calamity. This was a supreme forbidden technique cultivated by the undying Devil Emperor. The black flames were the Calamity Devil Fire, which could incinerate everything. Even great emperors couldn't survive. Seeing the sky-covering saber light and flames, original Devil Emperor and Divine Magus, who wanted to help, showed fear in their eyes. They instantly teleported away. Undying Devil Emperor, you've been severely injured by the Heaven Emperor. How dare you show off your power here? Ha ha ha. An era ago, the Heaven Emperor injured you severely. An era later, you'll probably still die in his hands. Dark Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he laughed out loud. His smile was cold and cruel. At the same time, he rushed into the sky. Chaotic demonic light rose from his body and blasted toward the saber light and the Calamity Devil Fire. He was protected by the infinite devil armor. The Devil Sun Calamity, which made great emperors avoid, was nothing to him. Boom! 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 Waves of fists punched out. Chaotic light swept across the entire area. The saber light and the Calamity Devil Fire were shattered by Dark Ling Xiao. At the same time, Ling Xiao sent out 3 dazzling beams of light into the 3 chaos treasures. Immediately, the wordless heavenly book, the plate of creation, and the primordial bead floated up and turned back into 3 magic screens, shielding him. Rumble. The unparalleled saber light fell, and the flames burned everything, causing the 3 boundaries to tremble continuously. But in the end, they were blocked by the 3 Chaos Supreme Treasures. Around Ling Xiao, there seemed to be an illusory and mysterious world. A terrifying devouring power erupted, devouring the life force inside Undying Devil Emperor's body. Ant-like things, you all deserve to die. Undying Devil Emperor's eyes were instantly filled with a strong intent of killing and fury. He coldly glanced at original Devil Emperor, Divine Magus, Dark Ling Xiao, and Ling Xiao. He was thoroughly infuriated. Black devil fire rose from his body, releasing a terrifying aura. In an instant, it was like a roaring black ocean, sweeping across the entire area and enveloping Ling Xiao and the other 3. Undying Devil Art, Endless Calamity. A cold and murderous voice exploded like thunder. The black ocean roared, containing a supreme power that could destroy everything. It was terrifying to the extreme. Not good. This is the Undying Devil Emperor's own forbidden technique. It's a supreme killing technique that can destroy great emperors of an era. Original Devil Emperor's expression changed drastically. His eyes were filled with fear. He knew better than anyone that Undying Devil Emperor had been pushed to the edge. This was the endless calamity in the Undying Devil Art. Endless calamity meant that everything would turn into nothingness and cease to exist. Performing this forbidden technique was a great burden for Undying Devil Emperor. It would cause him unimaginable damage, and he would be weak for a long time before he could recover. An epoch ago, the Heavenly Emperor had been severely injured by this forbidden technique, and had died in the end. Regardless of whether the Divine Emperor was truly alive or not, original Devil Emperor knew that neither he nor Divine Magus, nor Dark Ling Xiao and Ling Xiao could withstand this forbidden technique. Even though primitive Devil Emperor recognized this forbidden technique, it was too late. The Black Ocean could destroy and devour everything. Original Devil Emperor and Divine Magus were trapped in it, unable to escape. What made them even more shocked and desperate was that the origin of Great Tao in their bodies was collapsing. Their life force was fading away. They were unable to unleash any power at all. They could only watch helplessly as they sank into the endless darkness. Even though they were great emperors with hearts as strong as steel, they still couldn't help but panic and fear from the silent despair in their hearts. Dark Soaring Firmament and Dark Soaring Firmament were also enveloped by the Black Sea. Although he was protected by the infinite devil armor, Dark Ling Xiao still felt that his life force and primordial spirit were fading away. The process was much slower, but if it continued, he would die. No one could stop the end of all tribulations. The wordless heavenly book, the jade disk of fortune, and the primordial bead were once again blasted away by undying Devil Emperor. The black light shrouded Ling Xiao. Devil Qi surged violently, as if it had already invaded Ling Xiao's body. His entire body was glowing with a strange black light. Ling Xiao, you should be proud of yourself for being able to force me to use this forbidden technique of mutual destruction. Back then, the Divine Emperor was severely injured by this forbidden technique. Now, you will die here too. Undying Devil Emperor stared at Ling Xiao and said coldly, his eyes filled with undisguised killing intent. He could already feel a strong threat from Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao had yet to become a great emperor, but what if he really wanted to merge all Daos and take the final step to become a great emperor? By then, even Undying Devil Emperor would be no match for Ling Xiao. Undying Devil Emperor already felt a sense of crisis. Therefore, although he was severely injured, he had to use this forbidden technique at all costs to kill Ling Xiao. Is that so? Ling Xiao suddenly opened his eyes, revealing a hint of mockery in his eyes. Rumble. Within Ling Xiao's body, there seemed to be a resplendent sun rising. Within it, there were numerous mysterious constellations that had yet to fully fuse with it. However, the terrifying energy contained within it was enough to cause even great emperors to tremble in fear. 3,000 lines spread out, like a waterfall, quietly wrapped around Ling Xiao. That black ocean-like demonic light actually let out a series of crisp sounds. Crack. The devil light shattered, and then was swallowed up by the 3,000 lines. Then, without losing momentum, they wrapped around the Undying Devil Emperor's broken body. What? The Undying Devil Emperor's expression changed. He never thought that his forbidden technique would be so easily broken by Ling Xiao. Devil flames rose from his palm, intending to incinerate those lines. However, the 3,000 lines seemed to be very illusory. They instantly disappeared into Undying Devil Emperor's body. At the same time, Undying Devil Emperor felt that the vast life source in his body was instantly swarming into Ling Xiao's body 10 times or 100 times. Undying Devil Emperor's soul almost left his body. This tyrannical method of plundering one's lifespan made him vaguely recall the time when he was immortal, when he faced the gods and devils of the heavens. Ling Xiao was devouring his life force, and he had no way to get rid of it. After a short while, a small part of his life force was devoured by Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, do you really think my life force is so easy to devour? Then let's die together. The Undying Demon Emperor's eyes revealed a hint of madness. He suddenly roared. Demonic light surged around him, flames rose, and lightning blazed. A tyrannical and terrifying aura swept out in all directions. Not good. He's going to self-destruct. Original Devil Emperor and Divine Magus both turned pale with fright and hurriedly teleported away. Ling Xiao had broken Undying Devil Emperor's forbidden technique. Before they could react from the joy of surviving a disaster, Undying Devil Emperor was forced to self-destruct by Ling Xiao. How terrifying was Ling Xiao? At this moment, even Original Devil Emperor and Divine Magus were deeply afraid of Ling Xiao. Rumble. Heaven and earth shook violently. Undying Devil Emperor's enormous body, like a chaotic mountain, suddenly exploded in the vast void. Devil flames rose to the sky, surging like waves. That violent power could destroy everything. In an instant, it drowned Ling Xiao and Dark Ling Xiao. Original Devil Emperor and Divine Magus did not manage to escape far before they were affected by the power of self-destruction. They were drowned in an instant, and the sky was shaking violently. In an instant, blood rained down from the sky, as if the sky was crying. Chapter 33-31. On this day, blood rain fell from the sky 3 times in the Eldritch continent. Everyone was shocked. Blood rain fell from the sky 3 times. Such a strange phenomenon. Could it be that 3 great emperors fell in a day? Someone exclaimed in a trembling voice. The last time blood rain fell from the sky, it was when the demon lord of the demon world killed the blood prison demon emperor, causing blood rain to fall from the sky. The strange phenomenon was shocking and caused a commotion. Who would have thought that blood rain would fall from the sky 3 times in a day? Such a terrifying strange phenomenon was unheard of. Especially the 3rd time blood rain fell from the sky. At the same time, it was accompanied by the cries of ghosts and howls of wolves. Thunder and lightning intertwined in the void, and the wind howled. Heaven and earth shook as if it was the end of the world. It was extremely terrifying. 3 great emperors fell in a day. How is this possible? Some people could not believe it. Although all the worlds had merged and formed the Eldritch continent, the great emperors were still the strongest among the various races. They represented invincibility. Who could kill 3 great emperors in a row? However, the news spread quickly in the Eldritch continent. Heaven's chosen one, Ling Xiao, came out of seclusion. Many supreme experts tried to kill him. There were even great emperors who came in person to snatch the secret of transcendence from Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao exploded with shocking combat strength. He killed the great emperor of the savage beast and the great emperor of the dead spirit in a day, causing the other great emperors to retreat in fear. As soon as the news came out, the entire Eldritch continent was in an uproar. Ling Xiao, the peerless genius of the human race who once dominated the world and defeated countless geniuses throughout history, Ling Xiao. I'm afraid it's him. I didn't expect Ling Xiao's strength to be so heaven-defying. He killed 2 great emperors in a row before he became a great emperor. How terrifying would he be after he became a great emperor? I think I can see another heavenly emperor of the human race rising. Across all the races in the universe, countless utmost powerful beings were discussing fervently. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. The name Ling Xiao was anticipated by countless people. However, many people deliberately forgot about it. This heaven's chosen child was known as the only one in 108 eras to have obtained the secret of transcendence. As soon as he came out of seclusion, he displayed unparalleled combat strength that shocked both the past and the present. They seemed to recall the heavenly emperor of the human race from an epoch ago. He had once led the human race to glory by himself and became the lord of an epoch. He was the heavenly emperor who had once shaken the myriad worlds and made countless great emperors submit to him. His hands were stained with the blood of countless great emperors. It was the celestial emperor who had slain many demon emperors in a single battle, knocking the demon race, who had brought fear and death to all the worlds in the universe, off their divine altar. Now, the human race was weak, and Ling Xiao had risen against the heavens. How similar was it to an epoch ago? If Ling Xiao achieves his Tao, the human race will probably be even more glorious than it was an era ago. That's right. The human race has the sovereign of Kunwu Mountain, the human sovereign Jiang Yuyang, the sovereign of faith, the son of the celestial emperor, Xiao Ritian, and now, Ling Xiao. Who can defeat them? However, since Ling Xiao killed the savage beast emperor and the death spirit emperor, who caused the 3rd rain of blood? Could it be that a 3rd great emperor died in Ling Xiao's hands? Everyone exclaimed in shock, but at the same time, they were filled with doubts. They were curious about the identity of the 3rd great emperor who had fallen. Because of the appearance of Ling Xiao, the undercurrent in the Eldritch continent became even more turbulent. At the same time, in the boundless chaos, the dazzling light disappeared, and the black demon chi gradually dispersed, revealing a horrifying scene. The immortal demon emperor had disappeared without a trace. Although original Devil Emperor and Divine Magus reacted quickly, they still failed to escape from the range of the immortal Demon Emperor's self-destruction. Struck by the destructive power, their bodies were severely injured, and the origin of their great Tao seemed to be collapsing. However, they survived. I didn't think that the immortal Demon Emperor would choose to self-destruct. Is he really dead? Divine Magus murmured to himself with a serious look. How can the immortal Demon Emperor die so easily? He is the immortal Demon Emperor. Even the Divine Magus couldn't kill him, not to mention us. I'm sure that what he self-destructed was not his real body. Perhaps it was only a clone. Original Devil Emperor sneered. A clone? Divine Magus's face darkened. Although it was only a clone, this time, the immortal demon emperor must have suffered an unimaginable injury. Now is his weakest moment, and the best time to kill him. Original Devil Emperor said slowly, as if he was implying something. You want me to kill him? Divine Magus glanced at Original Devil Emperor and said. I'm not asking you to kill him. We should kill him together. After all, we both have our reasons to kill him, don't we? We can work together. Original Devil Emperor smiled faintly. Sure. You tell me the exact location of the immortal demon emperor. After I recover, I will go and kill him. Divine Magus said coldly. I wonder if the demon lord and Ling Xiao are still alive. Clicking his tongue, he said, Infinite devil armor and the secret of transcendence, it's so hard to choose. Original Devil Emperor suddenly murmured to himself, with a flickering light in his eyes. Divine Magus trembled. Infinite devil armor was not a big deal. It had many legends about it, and some even said that it was no weaker than Chaos Treasures. However, it seemed to be the most suitable one for the Devil Emperor. Therefore, Divine Magus wasn't too tempted. However, the secret of transcendence was tempting to him. Seeing Ling Xiao release such a terrifying power as an emperor, Divine Magus would be lying if he said that he didn't want the secret of transcendence. Now, it was probably the best time. Swoosh! Swoosh! Both Original Devil Emperor and Divine Magus rushed over, searching for Dark Ling Xiao and Ling Xiao. In the air, Dark Ling Xiao was wearing the armor, floating in the air. He looked ferocious, but at the moment, his body was cold, without any sense of power, as if he was already dead. Ling Xiao sat in the air with his legs crossed, looking old and gray-haired, as if his life force was exhausted. His power was weak, and a trace of blood could be seen on his mouth corner. Seeing Dark Ling Xiao and Ling Xiao like this, the eyes of Original Devil Emperor and Divine Magus shone. You two, aren't you leaving yet? Ling Xiao raised his head, calmly looked at Original Devil Emperor and Divine Magus, and said slowly. Ling Xiao, you're pretending to be heavily injured, aren't you? Why do you do this? We fought side by side. As long as you need us, we'll heal you immediately. Why do you need to be so vigilant against us? Original Devil Emperor glanced at Ling Xiao, sighed slightly and said. Ling Xiao showed a trace of scorn in his eyes as he said, What? Since you know that we fought side by side, why don't you leave now? Are you trying to take the secret of transcendence from me as well? No, you misunderstood. Original Devil Emperor smiled and said, I only want the armor. It's a supreme treasure of our kind. Of course, I will bring it back to our kind. As for Divine Magus, he wants the secret of transcendence. Ling Xiao, why don't you give the secret of transcendence to Divine Magus, and we'll heal you? What do you think? He seemed to be amiable, and talked to Ling Xiao with sincerity, as if he was negotiating with Ling Xiao. Heal me. I think you want to kill me, don't you? Are you sure you want the secret of transcendence now? If I really pretend to be injured like this, you'll have a hard time. Ling Xiao sneered and said. What Ling Xiao said made both Original Devil Emperor and Divine Magus hesitate. They didn't make a move because they were worried about this. Therefore, they had been trying to sound Ling Xiao out with words, and at the same time, trying to find out how badly Ling Xiao was injured. If Ling Xiao was truly not injured too badly, they might not be able to defeat Ling Xiao, as they were both badly injured. If they turned against Ling Xiao, things would be difficult. Ling Xiao, I need the secret of transcendence. Immortal Devil Emperor is still alive. I want to kill him for revenge. Give me the secret of transcendence, and I promise I won't kill you. Divine Magus stared at Ling Xiao and said slowly. Immortal Devil Emperor is still alive? As I expected, a man who has lived for so long still cherishes his life. He won't die so easily. You want to kill him, but what does that have to do with me? Let me give you a piece of advice, just leave. Ling Xiao showed a trace of surprise in his eyes, then blandly glanced at Divine Magus and said. If you don't give it to me, don't blame me for taking it from you. Divine Magus's eyes turned cold as he said coldly. Since you don't want to leave, then you don't have to. Right at this moment, a cold and bland voice could be heard. Original Devil Emperor and Divine Magus both trembled. They saw Dark Ling Xiao, who seemed to be lifeless, actually stand up. His eyes were incomparably cold, releasing a strong intent of killing. You're not dead. Original Devil Emperor's eyes narrowed. Ling Xiao, I told you, how could these two be indebted to you? If only they didn't want to take your secret of transcendence. But now, they were comrades who fought side by side with you, but now, you have no choice but to kill them. Dark Ling Xiao ignored Original Devil Emperor and said to Ling Xiao with a cruel smile. You're right. It seems that we can't let them live. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. You chose to join hands with Ling Xiao. Very good. You're indeed a scum of the devil race. It seems that I underestimated your shamelessness. Original Devil Emperor's face turned dark as he stared at Dark Ling Xiao and said coldly. Old dog, how dare you talk about me like that? Earlier, you said that you would work with me to kill Immortal Devil Emperor. Now, you want to work with Divine Magus to kill me? Since all of you are so greedy today, then leave your lives behind. Dark Ling Xiao snorted coldly, his eyes filled with an undisguised intent of killing. We can't fight for a long time. Let's go. Original Devil Emperor threw a hateful glance at Dark Ling Xiao, then instantly teleported himself away. He regretted it now. He thought that Immortal Devil Emperor's self-detonation was so destructive that even Epic Emperor would die for sure. Ling Xiao and Dark Ling Xiao were in the center of the explosion, so they shouldn't survive. It seemed that he had underestimated Ling Xiao and Dark Ling Xiao. To be exact, he had underestimated the secret of transcendence and the infinite devil armor. Seeing that Ling Xiao and Dark Ling Xiao had decided to join hands, he chose to run without any hesitation. Divine Magus's face darkened, but he knew that staying here wouldn't bode well for him. Therefore, he also ran away sullenly. Original Devil Emperor is mine, and Divine Magus is yours. Dark Ling Xiao showed a trace of a cruel intent of killing. Dark light surged from his body, transforming him into a dark bolt of lightning and chasing after Original Devil Emperor. Ling Xiao shook his head and rushed to Divine Magus as well. Both Original Devil Emperor and Divine Magus were affected by Immortal Devil Emperor's self-detonation. Added with their previous injuries, they had suffered irreversible injuries, which might even cause their powers to drop. Ling Xiao caught up with Divine Magus without spending too much effort. Kill! Seeing that he couldn't escape from Ling Xiao, Divine Magus's eyes shone with a cold light. He turned around and threw a punch at Ling Xiao. Chapter 33-32. Divine Magi had a strong temperament. Seeing that he couldn't escape, he didn't continue to run. Instead, he chose to turn around and fight back. Divine Magi's fists were extremely powerful. Even though he was severely injured, he still had the power to break the void and annihilate all living beings. Ling Xiao's eyes showed a trace of admiration. Then, he punched out. Crack! The void trembled violently as invisible ripples spread out. Everything within a radius of tens of thousands of miles was annihilated into dust. Divine Magi's body shook violently. His arm let out a clear sound and broke instantly. Then, he stepped back while coughing blood. He was severely injured. His origin of Tao was about to collapse. Naturally, he wasn't Ling Xiao's opponent. The dominating fist destroyed everything. With one strike, Divine Magi was knocked back. Kill! Divine Magi's eyes were incomparably cold. There was a trace of madness in them. Even though he was in a hopeless situation, he still didn't give up. He launched a fierce attack at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's eyes showed a trace of admiration. Divine Magi could be considered a fierce and decisive person. He was affectionate and righteous. For his wife, even though he knew he couldn't defeat Immortal Demon Emperor, he still fought with all his strength. Such a person deserved Ling Xiao's admiration. But after all, they were on different sides. He coveted Ling Xiao's secret of transcendence. If he wanted to harm Ling Xiao could only kill him to prevent future troubles. Rumble. In the sky, a battle that could not be considered evenly matched, but was incomparably tragic, broke out. The fourth rain of blood fell from the sky. It was a shocking scene. This was especially so in the sorcerer tribe's territory. They could feel the sorrowful and tragic aura, as if a great disaster was about to befall them. This caused many powerful sorcerer tribesmen to reveal shocked and uncertain expressions. They could not help but raise their heads and look at the void. Ling Xiao stood in the chaotic void for a long time. There was a trace of emotion in his eyes. Divine Magi died in his hands in the end. However, before he died, Divine Magi was willing to give his cultivation and life essence to Ling Xiao. He only asked Ling Xiao to kill Immortal Demon Emperor for him when he was able to. Divine Magi, I will kill Immortal Demon Emperor. Not for you, but for myself. Ling Xiao said slowly. His eyes gradually became calm. The immeasurable calamity seemed to have started from the moment he obtained the secret of transcendence. After all, the secret of transcendence was something that even great emperors would go crazy over. As long as Ling Xiao was still alive, there would be people coveting, prying, and killing. Moreover, they wouldn't rest until one of them was dead. Although Ling Xiao admired Divine Magi, he wouldn't show any mercy to them. Divine Magi had fallen. His body was destroyed completely. His original life force, primordial spirit, and all his power were given to Ling Xiao. Only this broken space around him seemed to be able to leave a trace, telling this world that Divine Magi once existed. Father. At this moment, a clear and joyful voice sounded. Ling Xiao froze and abruptly turned around. Dark Ling Xiao walked over from afar, holding the hand of a little girl who looked like she was carved from jade. She was wearing a snow-white dress, and her skin was like jade. Her face was delicate, like a porcelain doll. Under her long eyelashes, her clear and bright eyes were filled with excitement and joy. Longevity, Ling Xiao opened his mouth, and his eyes instantly turned red. A feeling of kinship welled up in his heart. It was as though he had been away for too long. After seeing Changsheng, Ling Xiao actually felt as though his eyes were brimming with tears. He unconsciously reached out his arms. Father. Longevity let go of Dark Ling Xiao's hand, then flew over and threw herself into Ling Xiao's arms. Feeling the softness in his arms, Ling Xiao felt that his heart was about to melt. Changsheng, my Changsheng, I miss you so much. Ling Xiao said softly, his eyes filled with a gentle smile. At this moment, the decisiveness to kill was gone. The unparalleled aggressiveness was gone. The invincibility was gone. The chaos was gone. In Ling Xiao's eyes, there was only longevity. Longevity was also extremely excited. She sneaked out to find Ling Xiao. Along the way, she went through countless difficulties and obstacles, and finally, she saw Ling Xiao. She hugged Ling Xiao tightly, as if she was afraid that Ling Xiao would disappear if she let go. Dark Ling Xiao stood in the distance and did not disturb them. Looking at the scene in front of him, he, who was usually cold and cruel, revealed a rare smile in his eyes. After a long time, Ling Xiao let go of longevity. Looking at Dark Ling Xiao in the distance, he said solemnly, "Thank you. You and I are one. Aren't you thanking me the same as thanking yourself?" Dark Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a trace of emotion, but he still said indifferently, "That's true." Ling Xiao nodded and said, "It was a very strange feeling. Talking to his doppelganger was like meeting another him." However, Ling Xiao still felt that Dark Ling Xiao seemed to be a little different, as if he had some of his own emotions and fluctuations. "Is the original Demon Emperor dead?" Ling Xiao asked. "No. That old guy is too cunning. His methods are impossible to guard against. Moreover, we were all fooled by that old guy. He's not an ordinary great emperor. He's also an epic great emperor, the kind of existence that survived the epic calamity. No wonder he dared to scheme against the undying demon emperor. Even I was tricked by him. Dark Ling Xiao shook his head and said casually. The original demon emperor and the undying demon emperor are very strong. You have to be careful. Ling Xiao said slowly. It's okay. This is also a good thing. The original demon emperor and the undying demon emperor are now in a dogfight. Moreover, both of them are severely injured. They probably won't have the chance to take care of me. I can take this opportunity to affirm my Dao and become an emperor. Dark Ling Xiao said with a faint smile, a trace of sharpness in his eyes. Affirm your Dao and become an emperor? Maybe you can give it a try. Do you need me to protect you? Ling Xiao nodded and said. Dark Ling Xiao had obtained the inheritance of the Chaos Demon tribe, but he had also obtained the inheritance of light and darkness. Since the Great Light Emperor and the Dark Emperor had fallen, Dark Ling Xiao should be able to affirm his Dao and become an emperor with the great Dao of light and darkness. You? Forget it. If you protect me, I'm afraid I'll die faster. Don't worry. When I affirm my Dao and become an emperor, those old guys in the demon realm will protect me. But you, if you really walk the path of combining all Daos, I'm afraid it'll be very risky. When you take the last step, you'll become the enemy of the entire world. Dark Ling Xiao looked at Ling Xiao seriously and said. I understand. But that day shouldn't be too far away. Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. He had slaughtered the great emperor of the barbarian beast and the great emperor of the undying demon emperor. He had also stolen a large amount of life origin from the undying demon emperor. Even a divine magus had died in his hands. Such a vast amount of life origin was almost enough for him to perform the art of reversing fate and complete the fusion of all Daos. After the fusion of all Daos, it would be the time for him to take the last step. Then be careful. I'm leaving. I'll be in seclusion for a while. The next time we meet, I should already be an emperor of the demon race. Dark Ling Xiao waved his hand at Ling Xiao and then walked into the void in the distance without any hesitation. Soon, he disappeared in front of Ling Xiao's eyes. Is he going to have his own consciousness? Interesting. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of surprise as he thought to himself. After Dark Ling Xiao obtained the infinite demon armor, he seemed to have undergone some strange changes. It was as if he had his own consciousness. Ling Xiao didn't stop this change. Although he had created 2 clones to leave a backup plan, Ling Xiao didn't need any backup plan at the moment. Perhaps the purpose of the 2 clones was to leave something behind. Ling Xiao also wanted to see what kind of changes Dark Ling Xiao and Faith Ling Xiao would have in the end. Daddy, Uncle Dark is very good to me. Although he looks very fierce, I can feel that he's very kind inside. Changxing held Ling Xiao's little hand and looked at the void in the distance. She blinked her big eyes and said. Very kind. That's a good evaluation. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of surprise as he said with a smile. If those people in the demon realm knew that Changxing had evaluated the cruel and bloodthirsty demon lord as kind, who knew what they would think? Let's go home. Ling Xiao rubbed Changxing's little head and said with a smile. Go home. Great, great. But. Daddy, Mommy will definitely be angry. Changxing snuck out this time. Changxing's eyes lit up as she said excitedly. However, she was a little troubled in the end. Your mommy won't be angry because I'm back. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Ling Xiao's heart was filled with emotions. He didn't expect Changxing to have reached the level of an unparalleled emperor in just a few hundred years. As expected of the innate chaotic body. Such talent was simply terrifying. Even though Changxing looked as cute as a porcelain doll, Ling Xiao could feel that there was a terrifying power hidden in Changxing's small body. Looking at the vast and boundless eldritch continent, Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of longing. I'm finally back. How are Jin Sei, Shui Wei, and my family and friends doing? Holding Changsheng's little hand, Ling Xiao and Changsheng quickly flew towards the Eldritch continent. Chapter 33-33. The fourth rain of blood fell from the sky in the Eldritch continent. The fourth great emperor had fallen. 4 great emperors had fallen in one day. This news swept across the world like a hurricane, stirring up the entire Eldritch continent. It's been confirmed. Apart from Emperor Savage Beast and Emperor Dead Spirit, Immortal Demon Emperor and Divine Magus also tried to kill Ling Xiao, but they were all killed by Ling Xiao. In the Wu clan, Divine Magus statue and life tablet were shattered. It's confirmed that Divine Magus has fallen. The Demon Master of the Devil World also announced that Immortal Demon Emperor died in Ling Xiao's hands. The Devil World will avenge Immortal Demon Emperor and fight Ling Xiao to the death. Demon Master. The Demon Master who killed the Blood Prison Demon Emperor. The Devil World is like a dog biting another dog. Hee hee, those bastards of the Devil World better kill each other. It'll be best if they all die. Everyone was discussing, and the news spread all over the world. This time, many supreme experts couldn't stay calm. Emperor Savage Beast and Emperor Dead Spirit were new great emperors, so they weren't that strong. It was understandable that they were killed by Ling Xiao. However, Immortal Demon Emperor and Divine Magus were old monsters who had lived for a long time. They were great emperors who had survived the great calamity of an era. They were unfathomably strong and could be called invincible in the Eldritch continent. Killing 4 great emperors in a single day. Had Ling Xiao's strength already reached such an extent? I heard that Ling Xiao hasn't become a great emperor yet. He's only an immortal emperor, but he has such incredible power. Even the heavenly emperor back then wasn't as strong as him, right? No. Maybe he's even stronger than the heavenly emperor. The heavenly emperor hasn't transcended, but Ling Xiao has the secret of transcendence. Once he completely transcends, I'm afraid he'll be invincible. Ling Xiao has returned to the human race. This is the most prosperous time for the human race. I'm afraid the human race is going to be revived this time. Everyone's words were filled with envy and admiration. Such a monstrous supreme expert was absolutely stunning and invincible. If he appeared in any race, he would be able to push that race to an extremely powerful state. Ling Xiao's brilliance had already overshadowed many demon-level sky prides. Even the 9th prince of the immortal tribe, Hong Tian, the son of the heavenly emperor, Zhao Ritian, and even Tathagata were overshadowed by him. Just as everyone was discussing, Ling Xiao brought longevity back to the human race's territory. Ling Xiao Mountain, Heavenly Court. Ling Xiao looked at the golden dragon in the sky above the heavenly court. The sea of fate clouds continued to rise. From time to time, powerful figures would soar into the sky and survey the surroundings. His eyes were filled with emotions. I never thought that the belief clone would be able to cultivate the faith Tao to such an extent. Next, I'm afraid it won't be difficult for him to become an emperor with the faith Tao, right? Ling Xiao muttered to himself. Who is it? Suddenly, a cold voice rang out. Instantly, a series of powerful auras swept across the sky to quickly appear before Ling Xiao and longevity. The leader was Emperor Burning Heaven. When he saw Ling Xiao and Changsheng, his entire body trembled. His eyes were filled with incomparable surprise and awe. Greetings to Lord Ling Xiao and little Princess Changsheng. Emperor Burning Heaven said excitedly. He knew that the Emperor and Ling Xiao were close friends. In the heavenly court, Ling Xiao had almost the same authority as the Emperor of Faith Tao. In particular, the news of Ling Xiao killing 4 great emperors in a row had shaken the entire heavenly court. Now, everyone in the heavenly court worshipped Ling Xiao. They were all looking forward to Ling Xiao's appearance. Now, Ling Xiao had finally returned. Even little Princess Changsheng had returned safe and sound, which made Emperor Fan Tian and the others excited and excited. Get up. You don't have to worry about me. Just patrol on your own. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Hello, Uncle Burning Heaven. Changsheng said obediently, causing Emperor Burning Heaven's eyes to become even more doting and tender. His happiness came from the bottom of his heart. Everyone in the heavenly court was a die-hard believer of the emperor, and almost all of them had watched Changsheng grow up. They were extremely fond of this obedient and mischievous little princess. Yes. Emperor Burning Heaven bowed respectfully. He then smiled at Changsheng affectionately and left with the others. They're all here. Ling Xiao scanned with his divine thought and saw a group of old friends. His eyes were filled with joy. He brought Changsheng and landed in front of Ling Xiao's main hall. Faith Dao Ling Xiao, Jin Sei, Shui Wei, and even the old goat, Taoist Wu Yang, White Dragon Horse, Yi Liangchen, Dugu Qiubai, Pangu Tiangang, and Lu Bai had all arrived. Everyone's eyes were filled with excitement. Brother Ling Xiao, you're back. Jin Sei looked at Ling Xiao, her eyes filled with a gentle smile. However, as she smiled, her eyes turned red. Tears silently flowed down her cheeks. All of her thoughts and worries were released at this moment. Shui Wei's face was also filled with tears of joy. For hundreds of years, their hearts were filled with worry and longing when Ling Xiao stepped onto Emperor Road of Eternity. Every day felt so long. Emperor Road of Eternity was known as a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. Countless geniuses had been buried there. Moreover, Ling Xiao had embarked on the path of Daos as one and obtained the secret of transcendence. Their hearts had long followed Ling Xiao across mountains and rivers, through space, to the end of the world. Countless times, they had been startled awake from their dreams, thinking that Ling Xiao would never return. Changsheng's departure from home had almost caused them to break down. But today, Ling Xiao had returned. Changsheng had also returned safely. All one wanted in life was for the people they cared about to be safe and happy. That was all. Ling Xiao's eyes turned red when he heard her call him, Brother Ling Xiao. He held Changsheng's hand and walked to Jin Sei, then pulled Jin Sei and Shui Wei into his arms. I've made you worry. Thousands of words, in the end, only turned into this choked sentence. Young master, it's good that you're back. It's good that you're back. Shui Wei shook her head silently. Her trembling voice was filled with joy. Ling Xiao felt an unprecedented peace in his heart. Hugging the people he loved the most in his arms, it was as if the dust of this journey had been washed away. All that was left was peace and satisfaction. Changsheng widened her eyes and looked at Ling Xiao. Then, she looked at Jin Sei and Shui Wei. Her eyes turned into crescents and she looked very beautiful. After a long while, Ling Xiao, Jin Sei, and Shui Wei parted reluctantly. I've made a fool of myself. Ling Xiao smiled at the crowd. What's there to make a fool of? It's just human nature. The old goat chuckled and shook his head. Human nature? Are you human? The white dragon horse glanced at him. What the fuck are you talking about? Are you itching for a beating again? The old goat's eyes glinted fiercely as he glared at the white dragon horse. Alright, stop fooling around. Today is a joyous day. Ling Xiao has killed 4 great emperors and shocked the entire Eldritch continent. From today onwards, no one will dare to look down on us. Taoist Wu Yang said with a smile. He stopped the white dragon horse from speaking as he was afraid that he would say something that would anger the old goat. These two fellows were always at each other's throats whenever they met. They could not stop for even a moment. That's right. Ling Xiao has killed 4 great emperors. This is something worth celebrating. From today onwards, the heavenly court will rule the Eldritch continent and no one will dare to challenge us. Yi Liangchen said with a proud smile. His eyes were filled with excitement. You're not from the heavenly court. Why are you so proud of yourself? The white dragon horse interrupted. I, Yi Liangchen, have decided to join the heavenly court today. Ling Xiao, why don't you make me the general of the army? Yi Liangchen said with a smile. He looked extremely wretched. You want to be the general of the army? I want to join the heavenly court too. The white dragon horse pouted. That's right. We'll all join the heavenly court. In the future, we'll be the generals of the heavenly court. We'll conquer the eldritch continent and be invincible. Ling Xiao, why don't the heavenly court have 4 great emperors, 12 Dharma kings, and 36 guardians? The old goat said as if he wanted to see the world in chaos. I'm willing to join the heavenly court too. Dugu Qiubai, who had been silent all this while, said with a smile. Ling Xiao didn't know whether to laugh or cry when he saw how excited everyone was. Belief Ling Xiao looked at everything calmly. His eyes were filled with a mysterious light. Maybe we can consider An's words. Now, the heavenly court is the most powerful force in the human race. Other than the Chaos Temple, the Destiny Temple, the Chinese, and a few other forces, the rest of the immortal sacred grounds and ancient races have all joined the heavenly court. Belief Ling Xiao said slowly. I'll leave it to you to arrange everything. Ling Xiao said with a smile. You're the real master of the heavenly court, Emperor Ling Xiao. I'm just protecting the heavenly court for you. Now that you're back, you should be the one making the decisions. Belief Ling Xiao said calmly. You know my character. I'm not good at these trivial matters. You should be the master of the heavenly court. I'm afraid I'll have to break through to the realm of 10,000 Daos as one. Ling Xiao said with a wry smile, 10,000 Daos as one. A true transcendence. Belief Ling Xiao's eyes shone with a strange light. That's right. Next, I'll go into seclusion for a period of time to complete the fusion of 10,000 Daos origins. Then, I'll take the ultimate step. Ling Xiao said slowly. The ultimate step. I'm afraid it'll be a sea of blood and mountains of corpses. I'm afraid most people don't want you to take that step. Belief Ling Xiao's eyes seemed to be filled with a bloody light. That's right. It'll be an earth-shattering battle. Maybe the person behind it will appear. It'll be a great tribulation and a new life, right? Ling Xiao said with a smile. That's right. That'll be the greatest tribulation of your life. If you can overcome it, you'll be invincible in all heavens and become a true supreme emperor. However, maybe before that, I can prove my Tao first and clear some obstacles for you. Belief Ling Xiao said with a nod. You're going to prove your Tao too? Not bad. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and he said with a smile. Belief Ling Xiao might be the same as Darkness Ling Xiao if he proved his Tao, right? It was too difficult to prove one's Tao on the Tao of belief. Many people had proven this point since ancient times. It was as if the Tao of belief couldn't prove one's Tao at all. However, Belief Ling Xiao seemed to have taken a special path. Interesting. Both of his clones had developed their own consciousness. Was it because their cultivation base had reached such a level, or was it because someone was pushing them from behind? Ling Xiao sneered in his heart. He felt that he was getting closer to the truth. Chapter 33-34. At night. On Lingxiao Mountain, a round moon as bright as a jade plate hung high in the sky, sprinkling down rays of silver light, illuminating the entire heavenly court as if it was daytime. A banquet was held in the heavenly court. All the experts of the heavenly court gathered in the sea of clouds on Lingxiao Mountain. All kinds of delicacies and rare fruits were placed on the table, and the nectar of the heavenly court was also brought out. Everyone toasted each other, their faces brimming with joy. Today, the heavenly court celebrated together. Princess Changsheng, who had run away from home, had returned. More importantly, the supreme prodigy of the human race, the chosen one, had obtained the secret of transcendence. After coming out of seclusion, even Ling Xiao, who had slain 4 great emperors, had returned. It was as if the heavenly court had a stabilizing force, a supreme expert who reigns supreme in the world. The Emperor Lord of Faith even announced that Ling Xiao was the true master of the heavenly court, and was honored as Emperor Ling Xiao. From then on, the heavenly court entered a new era where the Emperor Lord of Faith and Emperor Ling Xiao ruled the world. Although Ling Xiao had yet to prove his Tao and become an emperor, he had been able to kill 4 great emperors in a row. In everyone's eyes, Ling Xiao was already a true great emperor. Now, the heavenly court was the most powerful force of the human race. Other than the Chaos Temple, the Fane of Destiny, and a few other forces, almost all the other immortal sacred grounds and ancient races had joined the Heavenly Court. Even sects like the Spacetime Heavenly Gate, the Fane of Extinction, and the 9 Imperial Gates, which had once held grudges against Ling Xiao, were now willing to join the Heavenly Court. The entire human race was the territory of the Heavenly Court. There were statues of Ling Xiao everywhere, and they were all providing an endless supply of power of faith to Ling Xiao. Above the sea of clouds, millions of people gathered together for a grand banquet. Everyone's eyes were filled with excitement and admiration as they looked at the peak of Ling Xiao Mountain. This was because Emperor Ling Xiao and the Emperor Lord of Faith were there. Originally, the human race had always been careful and sought survival in the cracks, especially after the fusion of the heavens and realms and the appearance of the Eldritch continent. Various powerful races would invade the human race's territory to plunder various resources and even enslave the human race. Even though the Emperor of Kunwa Mountain and the human Emperor Jiang Yuyang were there, they were still extremely worried. After all, the immeasurable cataclysm was coming. This was an era where emperors competed against one another. Without a true Grand Emperor, how could one establish their foothold in the primitive continent? Ling Xiao had killed 4 great emperors in a row, which made them extremely excited. They were filled with indescribable respect and admiration. They also recognized Ling Xiao from the bottom of their hearts, treating Ling Xiao as the savior of the human race. You don't know this, but I once stole something from Emperor Ling Xiao during the Heavenly Profound Convention. However, Emperor Ling Xiao was magnanimous and didn't kill me. He even spared my life. That's why I'm where I am today. What do you mean? Back then, Emperor Ling Xiao had personally guided me and taught me supreme divine skills. Therefore, Emperor Ling Xiao and I can be considered as half a master. In my heart, I have already regarded Emperor Ling Xiao as my master. Bah, shameless. How could Emperor Ling Xiao take a liking to you? I witnessed Emperor Ling Xiao's battle in the Ling Xiao mountain range. At that time, the saints besieged Emperor Ling Xiao and wanted to steal his heavenly fate. In the end, Emperor Ling Xiao killed all the great saints. Those immortal sacred grounds didn't even dare to speak. Not only did they not dare to speak. I'm a disciple of the 9 Imperial Obelisk. Back then, the sacred master of the 9 Imperial Obelisk was so scared that he almost peed his pants. Ha ha ha. Many of the Heavenly Court's experts were flushed with excitement as they recounted the events of the past. It was as if it had just happened yesterday. Spittle flew everywhere and their eyes were filled with excitement. Those sacred grounds and sects that had offended Emperor Ling Xiao were now bragging without restraint. Each of them was filled with emotions. No one had expected Emperor Ling Xiao to rise against the heavens in such a short time. From a mortal in the mortal world, he had grown to such an extent that even the emperors trembled in fear. Fortunately, such a person was from the human race. If Emperor Ling Xiao were to attain the Tao, he would probably be the 10th emperor of the human race. Moreover, he would be comparable to a heavenly emperor, right? Someone sighed softly. Everyone could not help but tremble. Then, they nodded solemnly. Their eyes were filled with incomparable excitement. That's right. With the heaven-defying combat strength that Emperor Ling Xiao had displayed, if he were to attain the Tao and become an emperor, he would definitely be a figure like a heavenly emperor. The 10th emperor of the human race was comparable to a heavenly emperor. Such glory was hard to find in the world. It would bring great benefits to the entire human race. It might even allow the human race to become the epoch lord once again, just like how it was an epoch ago. At the peak of Ling Xiao Mountain, the ancient trees were tall and strong. A gentle breeze blew, and the surroundings were misty. It looked peaceful and peaceful. There was only a huge square table here. It was filled with delicacies and nectar. Those who were able to sit here were mostly Ling Xiao's old friends. The old goat, the white dragon horse, Daoist Wuyang, Yi Yangchen, Dugu Qiubai, and the others were naturally present. Even the ancestors of the 5 sacred clans were present. The old goat's master, Emperor Devouring Sky, was an old man with white hair and beard. He looked like an immortal and his aura was unfathomable. His cultivation was in the peerless Imperial Emperor realm. Ling Xiao could sense that Emperor Devouring Sky and the old goat were both pure-blooded Taotais. Moreover, they should have condensed at least 2 Dao spirits. It would not be long before they could attain the Dao and become emperors. As for the ancestors of the 5 sacred clans, other than Gu Daoi, although the other 4 were powerful and had a long lifespan, their vitality had deteriorated. In this lifetime, they would stop at the peerless Imperial Emperor realm. There was no hope for them to attain the Dao. As for Gu Daoi, he had already recovered his peak cultivation and reached the peerless Imperial Emperor realm. Moreover, his body was surrounded by an extreme Emperor aura. His aura was extremely powerful and unfathomable. As a former fierce emperor, it would not be long before Gu Daoi attained the Dao as well. If Emperor Devouring Sky and Gu Daoi could attain the Dao, then the demon race would have 2 more demon emperors. They would be able to protect themselves to a certain extent in the Eldritch continent. However, because of Ling Xiao's existence now, no one dared to provoke the demon race. When old friends met, they were all incomparably happy. Especially the old goat and the white dragon horse. These 2 fellows were the most active. They put their arms around each other's shoulders and drank with everyone. Their cheeks were flushed and they were a little tipsy. Their eyes were filled with incomparable excitement. Changshen was also sipping the wine and playing with her aunt Ling Sisi. Her big eyes were sparkling and she was very happy. Xiao, your mother and I did not expect you to be able to come to this day. You must have suffered a lot and experienced countless life and death situations. Your mother and I do not wish for you to fly too high. We only hope that you will not be so tired. You must protect yourself well. Ling Zhen was also a little drunk. His eyes were a little red as he looked at Ling Xiao seriously and said, "That's right. Xiao, your father and I do not want anything. We only want you to live." Long Han Yan also said with a smile. However, as she smiled and smiled, her eyes became a little moist. They had been brought to the heavenly court by Ling Xiao long ago for protection. But they were worried all the time. This was especially true for the Eternal Emperor's road this time. Countless geniuses were fighting for supremacy, and many ancient geniuses had even fallen. Especially when they learned that Ling Xiao had obtained the secret of transcendence, their first reaction wasn't joy, but worry. Deep worry. This time, Ling Xiao had returned with glory after killing 4 great emperors. What they saw was more danger and a narrow escape from death. "Father, mother, don't worry. I will not die. I will always be alive and by your side. In this world, the person who can take my life has not been born yet." Ling Xiao smiled as he tried to console her. However, his heart was filled with warmth. Although they were his parents after his rebirth, this kinship was extremely precious to Ling Xiao. It was worth him cherishing and protecting with his life. Looking at these old friends in front of him, Ling Xiao felt an unprecedented sense of ease and freedom. It was as if the dust of this journey had been washed away. Even his Dao heart had become clear and transparent. "Ling Xiao, I did not expect you to have grown to this extent. I am afraid that even I am no match for you now." Gu Daoi said with a smile and walked over with Emperor Tunshan. "Senior Gu, you must be joking. I see that Senior Gu's cultivation has recovered and his origin is strong. I am afraid that you will be able to prove your Dao soon, right?" Ling Xiao said with a smile. "Do you know how difficult it is to prove one's Dao? Old Monster Tunshan and I are not absolutely confident. However, if that day really comes, we will need you to protect us 2 old fellows." Gu Daoi said with a smile. "Of course." Ling Xiao nodded. "We're here to tell you something. You have obtained the 10,000 demon banner and are now the master of 10,000 demons, the master of the demon clan in name. However, the demon emperor does not seem to be dead. We have already sensed his aura. I am afraid that he will return soon. If the demon emperor returns, he will definitely come to you for the 10,000 demon banner." The demon emperor is domineering and extremely powerful. You must be careful then. Gu Daoyi said slowly. Demon Emperor. Senior Gu, the 10,000 demon banner belongs to the demon clan. If the demon emperor wants it, I will give it to him. When the time comes, the demon clan will have 3 great emperors. They will be very powerful and will be able to protect themselves. Ling Xiao said with a nonchalant smile. You must not. Emperor Tunchen said. Ling Xiao, I am sure you know the significance of the 10,000 demon banner. It is the true treasure of the demon clan and is different from ordinary supreme emperor weapons. With the demon emperor's arrogant personality, if he obtains the 10,000 demon banner, not only will Gu Daoyi and I have to submit to him, but we will also never be able to prove our Dao and become an emperor. Moreover, with the 10,000 demon banner in your hands, the demon emperor will not let you off easily. Especially when you have the secret of transcendence and the heaven path fate. He will definitely kill you and take everything. Emperor Tunchen said seriously. In that case, there will definitely be a battle between the demon emperor and I? Ling Xiao said with a smile. That's right. Gu Daoyi and Emperor Tunchen looked at each other and said slowly. In that case, let's kill him. Ling Xiao said calmly. Chapter 33-35. Ling Xiao's words were casual, but they carried the aura of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. Gu Daoyi and the Emperor Tunchen nodded. They also believed that Ling Xiao had the strength to kill a shifter emperor. Soon, the Emperor Lord of Kunwu Mountain and Jiang Yuyang arrived. Greetings, seniors. Ji Tian smiled and bowed to the two of them. The Emperor Lord of Kunwu Mountain and Jiang Yuyang were the pillars of the human race. They took good care of Ling Xiao and had always treated him like an elder. No need to be so polite. Ling Xiao, you didn't disappoint me. The Emperor Lord of Kunwu Mountain smiled. Ling Xiao, you might not know this, but ever since you came out of seclusion, the seniors of Kunwu Mountain have been waiting for you in the chaotic void, ready to escort you back to the human race. I didn't expect you to be able to kill 4 great emperors without the protection of the seniors of Kunwu Mountain. It's amazing. Jiang Yuyang said slowly, his eyes filled with emotion. Thank you, seniors, but I still have a long way to go. I can't be considered a true great emperor without transcending. I only killed a few fake great emperors. It's nothing. Ling Xiao said with a smile. How could Ling Xiao not know that the Emperor Lord of Kunwu Mountain was in the chaotic void? Perhaps the Emperor Lord of Kunwu Mountain had mysterious means that even great emperors couldn't detect, but Ling Xiao had long sensed it. However, the Emperor Lord of Kunwu Mountain didn't make a move. He only left after Ling Xiao passed the tribulation. Even though Ling Xiao had obtained the secret of transcendence and embarked on the path of unification, he still couldn't see through the Emperor Lord of Kunwu Mountain. The Emperor Lord of Kunwu Mountain was still unfathomable. Although the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain, who existed even before the birth of the human race, was unable to attain the Tao and become an emperor, his true strength far surpassed that of ordinary great emperors. Ling Xiao, almost all the forces in the human race's territory have joined the Heavenly Court, but the Chaos Shrine and the Destiny Shrine have rejected them. What do you think? Jiang Yuyang looked at Ling Xiao and asked. It's their choice whether they want to join the Heavenly Court. I don't want to interfere. However, the Chaos Saint has been my enemy many times in the Chaos Shrine. He even schemed against my daughter, Changsheng. The Chaos Shrine has to give him an explanation. Ling Xiao said slowly with a sharp glint in his eyes. He had no ill feelings towards the Chaotic Saint. In fact, it was the Chaotic Saint who had given him the secret arts of chaos during the Tianxian Convention so that he could integrate the secret arts of the 12 Heavenly Palace and become a saint. The Saint of Chaos was also working for the future of the human race. However, the path he chose was different from Ling Xiao's. As the saying goes, those who walk different paths cannot make plans together. Between him and Ling Xiao, it was destined to be a life and death struggle. But he shouldn't have attacked Changsheng. He touched Ling Xiao's reverse scale, so he must die. The person behind the Chaos Temple is not simple. If I'm not mistaken, the Chaos Saint has already sided with the Chaos Emperor. He was the most ancient great emperor in history and had lived for 108 eras. Even the Chaos Demon tribe was closely related to him. If you want to deal with the Primal Chaos Saint, you will have to face the Primal Chaos Emperor. Although the Primal Chaos Emperor has yet to awaken, once he does, the entire Eldritch continent will tremble. The Kunwu Mountain Emperor's expression became unprecedentedly solemn. Primal Chaos Emperor. He must be the Lord Ruler that the Saint of Chaos referred to, right? He has lived for 108 eras. That's a long time indeed. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply. To be able to live for 108 eras without dying, the Primal Chaos Emperor's strength was most likely heaven-defying to the extreme. In fact, although the first era of the ancient times was called the Immortal Era, it should be called the Era of Emperors. The first era was the most glorious period. At that time, each race had their own great emperors. The Great Tao shone brilliantly as the Great Tao competed. It was a golden age. At that time, the 12 ancestral gods of the demon tribe and the 9 great immortal emperors of the immortal tribe were the cream of the crop. The 4 most outstanding great emperors were the Primal Chaos Emperor, the Destiny Emperor, the Karma Emperor, and the Reincarnation Emperor. Their real names were no longer known, but they had attained the 4 most powerful great Daos among the 3,000 great Daos. They were also known as the Primal Chaos Emperor, the Destiny Emperor, the Karma Emperor, and the Reincarnation Emperor. At the end of the First Era, the tragic Emperor's Fall War broke out. Many great emperors fell, the sky was bathed in blood, and the Eldritch continent was shattered into pieces. The 4 great emperors were also severely injured. Some even said that they had died. However, I have a feeling that they should still be alive. For the past 108 eras, no one has been able to attain these 4 great Daos. This is proof enough. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain said slowly. The great emperors who survived Emperor's fall. It said that the 12 ancestral gods of the divines and the 9 great immortal emperors of the immortals all fell, but they managed to survive. They are indeed powerful. To be able to live for 108 eras is incomparably terrifying. Ling Xiao said slowly with a solemn expression on his face. That's why the Primal Chaos Saint was so fearless. Even if he was defeated by you, even if he didn't hesitate to capture your daughter Changsheng, he still stood by the Primal Chaos Emperor's side. He believed that only by relying on the Primal Chaos Emperor would the human race have a chance of survival in the immeasurable calamity. Jiang Yuyang sighed softly. The Primal Chaos Saint did not have any selfish motives. He did it for the sake of the human race, but his approach was wrong. I don't care who he did it for, but he shouldn't have touched my daughter. So what if he's the Primal Chaos Emperor? Since I've embarked on this path, it's only a matter of time before I become an enemy of all the great emperors in the universe. Ling Xiao said with a cold laugh. The unification of 10,000 great Daos would become the only great emperor in history. If Ling Xiao could attain Dao, wouldn't it prove that he was the true great emperor and the other great emperors were fake great emperors? Whether it was to steal the secret of transcendence or for other reasons, those great emperors would definitely not want to see Ling Xiao take that final step. Ling Xiao had returned to the Eldritch continent unscathed after killing several great emperors after coming out of seclusion. That was just a test. One could imagine that what Ling Xiao had to face next would be an even more intense battle. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain and Jiang Yuyang both knew what Ling Xiao was about to face. That was why they advised Ling Xiao that it was not wise to offend the Primal Chaos Emperor now. Ling Xiao, it's not impossible if you insist on attacking the Primal Chaos Saint. However, you must remember that you cannot destroy the Primal Chaos Temple. Now is not the time for the Primal Chaos Emperor to awaken. Do you understand? The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain said slowly. I understand. However, the Primal Chaos Saint must die. Ling Xiao said slowly with a trace of intense killing intent in his eyes. He had already decided to attack the Primal Chaos Temple and kill the Primal Chaos Saint. Chapter 33-36. When Ling Xiao returned to the heavenly courts, the first thing he did shocked the entire human territory. Even the Eldritch continent was shaken. The heavenly courts ordered the Chaos Temple to hand over the Chaos Saint, Limitless, to the heavenly courts within a month. Otherwise, the heavenly courts would send troops to destroy the Chaos Temple. The reason was that the Chaos Saint, Limitless, had plotted against Ling Xiao many times. He had even plotted to kidnap Ling Xiao's daughter, Immortal. When the news came out, everyone looked at the Chaos Temple. They wanted to see how they would react. After all, the heavenly courts had almost unified the entire human territory. However, the Chaos Temple and the Destiny Temple had not joined the heavenly courts. It was very intriguing. When they saw the heavenly courts' actions, many people subconsciously thought that the heavenly courts were looking for an excuse to forcefully take over the Chaos Temple and the Destiny Temple. The Chaos Temple quickly responded. They were unexpectedly tough. The Chaos Temple said that they would never hand over the Chaos Saint, Limitless. They also said that the Chaos Saint was the chosen one of the human race. He was the real 10th emperor of the human race and would soon become an emperor. Ling Xiao and the heavenly courts had stolen the authority of the human race and were traitors to the human race. The Chaos Temple also announced that they would let Ling Xiao kill himself to thank the human race. Otherwise, they would destroy the heavenly courts when the Chaos Saint became an emperor. Many people were excited when they saw the Chaos Temple's tough attitude. Was the Chaos Temple going to fight the heavenly courts head-on? The Chaos Temple is probably not as powerful as the heavenly courts. Moreover, Ling Xiao had just killed 4 great emperors. It would be easy for him to destroy the Chaos Temple. Where did the Chaos Temple get their confidence from? It's hard to say. The Chaos Temple is the oldest immortal sanctuary of the human race. They are the leader of the 12 immortal sanctuaries. They are extremely mysterious and have a strong foundation. They might have some backup plans. What backup plans could they have? Could it be that there is a great emperor behind them? However, even a great emperor would not be Ling Xiao's match. I have a feeling that the Chaos Temple is not simple. The Chaos Saint is also said to have a mysterious background. Everyone discussed animatedly with different expressions on their faces. Everyone looked at the heavenly courts and the Chaos Temple. They wanted to see what would happen next. If the heavenly court really destroyed the Chaos Temple, the human race would finally be unified, and Ling Xiao would become the true ruler of the human race. However, if the heavenly court was no match for the Chaos Shrine, then the human race, which had just begun to unify, would probably fall apart immediately. In the heavenly courts, Ling Xiao was in seclusion. Ling Xiao had slaughtered barbaric beast emperor, dead spirit emperor, and divine magus, and even devoured a big half of the original life force of immortal devil emperor. By now, Ling Xiao had a great amount of original life force. He was constantly activating the fate reversing technique to complete the fusion of the great Tao. Within Ling Xiao's body, the 3,000 origins of the great path were like a vast starry sky, intertwining with each other. The mysterious power caused the surrounding void to tremble. 30% of the fusion of the 3,000 great Tao origins had been completed. With the replenishment of the massive amount of life origins, the speed of the fusion also became faster and faster. Ling Xiao did not care about the reactions of the outside world. Regardless of whether the Chaos Sacred Hall was willing to hand over the Chaos Saint, it wouldn't affect Ling Xiao's current state of mind. Furthermore, he felt that the Chaos Sacred Hall would most likely not hand over the Chaos Saint. By then, he would probably have to kill his way into the Chaos Sacred Hall, and he might even have to face the legendary Chaos Emperor. Ling Xiao had set aside a month for himself. With the domineering power of the fate-reversing technique, a month was enough for him to refine the original life force of the 4 great emperors and activate the fate-reversing technique to complete the fusion of the Great Tao. As the origins of the Great Tao in Ling Xiao's body gradually fused, the original power in his body also began to transform into the power of the ruler, causing Ling Xiao's aura to become even more ethereal and mysterious. If a great emperor was present, he would realize that Ling Xiao seemed to have broken away from this side of the world, severed all karma and dust, as if he had transcended. His aura became stronger and stronger, more and more terrifying. A month later. Ling Xiao slowly opened his eyes, and there was a hint of a bitter smile in his eyes. I thought that the original life force of the 4 great emperors would be enough for me to complete the fusion of all the origins of the great Tao. I didn't expect that it would only be 70%. Moreover, the further the fusion of the origins goes, the more terrifying the original life force is required. According to the current situation, even if I kill another 3 great emperors, I'm afraid it will be difficult to complete the fusion of all the origins, right? The original life force of the 4 great emperors in Ling Xiao's body had been completely used up. His body was gray like chaos, and the power of the ruler was no longer as illusory as before. It had become more solid. Ling Xiao could also feel that his battle strength had increased tremendously. As for how strong he was now, even Ling Xiao himself was not sure. The only thing lacking was that his original life force was about to be used up. He looked lethargic, and his hair was white, as if he would die at any time. However, the vital energy in his body was as vigorous as the sea, and it was as mighty as the sun. It was as if a strand of vital energy could kill an imperial emperor expert. The 2 auras gathered on Ling Xiao's body at the same time, causing him to exude a strange aura. The Chaos Temple is so powerful. I'm really curious. What's behind them? The Chaos Emperor. Ling Xiao muttered to himself, and a strong fighting spirit surged in his eyes. A month's time is up. Should we send troops to flatten the Chaos Temple? Faith Ling Xiao asked calmly as he appeared in front of Ling Xiao. His body was shining brightly. There's no need to send troops. I alone am enough. I can see that your path of faith has reached an extremely critical stage. You will be able to prove your Tao soon, and take the final step. This time, I will go to the Chaos Temple alone. You stay here and refine the power of faith to prepare for your Tao. Ling Xiao looked at Faith Ling Xiao and said slowly. Faith Ling Xiao's body was shining with golden light, and he looked pure and clear. At the same time, he exuded a mysterious and powerful aura, as if he could condense an extreme emperor aura at any time. Moreover, Ling Xiao could feel the tribulation qi in Faith Ling Xiao's body. The tribulation qi was extremely terrifying. It was probably the emperor's tribulation, and it would arrive soon. Faith Ling Xiao might be able to prove his Tao and become an emperor before Ling Xiao. All right. Belief High Firmament nodded. Although the Chaos Temple was not simple, and there might even be an ancient great emperor behind them, Faith Ling Xiao still felt that they were not a threat to him. Ever since he stepped on the path of 10,000 Tao as one and killed 3 great emperors, Ling Xiao had become invincible. He was not a great emperor, but he was stronger than one. This might be a rare opportunity for Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao came out of seclusion. The aura around him was clear and ethereal, as if he was separated from the surrounding heaven and earth. With every step he took, a mysterious lotus bloomed. It was like the lotus blooming with every step he took, mysterious and unfathomable. In the sky above Ling Xiao mountain range, the white dragon horse, the old goat, and Taoist Wu Yang were already waiting. Are you guys coming with me? Ling Xiao asked with a faint smile when he saw the 3 of them. Ling Xiao, you are now an emperor lord. Even if you don't mobilize the Heavenly Court's army, you still need a mount. The dragon horse is a bastard. Although it is not as reliable as the Kuan Peng, it can still be used to coax people. As for me and the ox-nosed old Taoist, we will not go with you. If you fight with the people from the Chaos Temple, we will find a chance to sneak in and plunder the treasures of the Chaos Temple. The Chaos Temple is the oldest immortal sacred ground. They must have many treasures. If we work together, not only can we intimidate the Chaos Temple, but we can also prevent them from doing anything desperate. What do you think? The old goat patted the white dragon horse's head and chuckled. He was still in the form of a black goat, as if he was not used to the appearance of a human. However, his eyes were rolling around, making him look even more wretched. Who is not reliable? I am an ancient sacred beast. I will follow the Emperor Lord to conquer the Chaos Temple. I will definitely trample the world and shake the entire Eldritch continent. How can the Kun Penguin be compared to me? The white dragon horse shook off the old goat's hoof unhappily. He then looked at Ling Xiao with a flattering smile and said proudly. He was originally following the emperor of the Kunwu mountain. When he was given to Ling Xiao by the emperor of the Kunwu mountain, he had always been unhappy. However, Ling Xiao had returned from Emperor's Road of Eternity and killed 4 great emperors. Even the emperor of the Kunwu mountain was full of praises for Ling Xiao. Especially when the divine beast Kun Peng became Ling Xiao's mount, the white dragon horse felt threatened. He could not wait to suck up to Ling Xiao. How would he dare to show off in front of Ling Xiao? Oh! Dragon horse, I did not expect you to have the talent to be a bootlicker. Not bad, not bad. Continue to work hard in the future. Otherwise, your status will be surpassed by Little Black. The old goat seemed to have seen through the white dragon horse's thoughts and teased, bullshit. How can Little Black be compared to me? The Kun Peng is not fit to be the Emperor Lord's mount. Only I can follow the Emperor Lord to conquer the world and be invincible. The white dragon horse laughed proudly. His entire body was as white as jade. There were no other colors. His 4 legs were covered with silver dragon scales. He looked extremely handsome and his body exuded a holy and mysterious radiance. Boom! Light spewed out from the white dragon horse's back. 2 snow-white wings sprouted from his back. They were flowing with a mysterious radiance. They were crystal clear like the wings of a cicada. They intertwined with spatial fluctuations as though they could travel through the heavens at will. Coupled with the white dragon horse's arrogant attitude, the old goat and Taoist Wuliang's eyes lit up. Dragon horse, not bad. I did not expect your bloodline to awaken and grow the space wings of the ancestor of the Pegasus. Taoist Wuliang said with a smile. The space wings of the ancestor of the Pegasus represented the fastest speed in the world. It could even pierce through the river of time and move through the heavens. No formation, no space, and no obstruction could stop it. The white dragon horse had not only awakened the bloodline of the ancestor dragon. Now that it had grown the space wings, it was a supreme mount that many great emperors dreamed of having. You know your stuff. This is indeed the space wings. With the space wings, even great emperors can only lick my feet. The white dragon horse laughed proudly. After his cultivation had broken through to the unparalleled emperor realm, the bloodline in his body had completely awakened. At the same time, he possessed the divine powers of the Pegasus and the ancestor dragon. His strength was also extremely powerful. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Let's go to the Chaos Temple. Ling Xiao knocked on the white dragon horse's head helplessly. He then leaped onto the white dragon horse. Emperor Lord, don't worry. We'll reach the Chaos Temple soon. The white dragon horse smiled flatteringly. In the next moment, the power of space intertwined around its body. A mysterious radiance shone brightly and it instantly disappeared in front of the old goat and the white dragon horse. It was heading towards the Chaos Temple. That guy is running so fast. Let's catch up. The old goat muttered. Together with Taoist Wuliang, he used the teleportation technique and chased after the white dragon horse. Chapter 33-37. The Chaos Temple was extremely secretive. Ordinary people did not know where it was. Even the other immortals' sacred lands only knew that it was near the Creation's sacred mountain in the human territory. However, the exact location was kept a secret. Legend had it that the Chaos Temple occupied an ancient world. There was only one door connected to the human territory. However, unless the Chaos Temple opened the door, ordinary people would not be able to enter. The Creation's sacred mountain was a forbidden land in the human territory. It was rumored that the immemorial sacred mountain that was left behind when the world was first created was called the Creation's sacred mountain. The Creation's sacred mountain was filled with chaotic mist. It still retained the scene of when the world was first created. Although there were many natural treasures here, ordinary people did not dare to come here. The Creation's sacred mountain was extremely dangerous. Even a saint could die here if he was not careful. When Ling Xiao and the white dragon horse arrived at the creation's sacred mountain, they saw many mountains that pierced the clouds and exuded a majestic aura. The chaotic light around them rose like a sea of clouds, ethereal and unfathomable. Is this the creation's sacred mountain? What a treasure land! I didn't expect it to be occupied by the Chaos Temple. Ling Xiao, should we try peaceful means before resorting to force or charge indirectly? The white dragon horse snorted. Its eyes were filled with eagerness as it spoke. Charge indirectly. Do you know how to enter the Chaos Temple? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes were filled with bright light. That was the light emitted by the eye of the ruler. It could see through everything and illuminate the heavens. To others, even peerless imperial emperors would find it difficult to discover the door. However, Ling Xiao could see it clearly. He could see that in a small world where the Chaos Temple was located, there was an ancient light door that connected to the creation's sacred mountain. However, at this moment, the place where the passage was located was filled with killing intent. Runes were everywhere. It was obvious that the Chaos Temple was prepared. Moreover, Ling Xiao could see that a few imperial emperors had concealed themselves. They were in the void around the passage, observing Ling Xiao's every move. In addition, many experts from various races had arrived at the creation's sacred mountain. Although they were watching from afar, their eyes were filled with excitement. To them, regardless of whether Ling Xiao or the Chaos Shrine won, the human clan would be weakened. They were happy to see that happen. Of course. That's not a problem for me. Others might find it difficult to find the passageway to the primal Chaos Temple, but it's a piece of cake for me. The white dragon horse laughed proudly. He had awakened the ancestral dragon bloodline and the Pegasus bloodline at the same time. His strength was unparalleled and he had the ability to travel at the same time. Even a great emperor-level expert would find it difficult to achieve his speed. Moreover, with the wings of space, the white dragon horse could move through the sky. No formation, barrier, or restriction could trap it. Now that we're here, the people from the Chaos Temple must have discovered us. However, no one has appeared. I'm afraid they're going to put up a desperate fight. Since that's the case, there's no need to use peaceful means before resorting to force. Let's just charge in. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a cold glint flashed in his eyes. Good. Let's kill our way in. The white dragon horse said excitedly. Rumble. Blazing light rose from his body, exuding a vast and unparalleled dragon's might. The wings of space spread out, like clouds hanging from the sky. They looked sparkling and translucent, interweaving with incomparably mysterious spatial fluctuations. Swoosh. The white dragon horse's eyes shone with excitement as its body trembled with excitement. In an instant, it seemed to have merged with the void. Then, it charged towards the peak of the Genesis sacred mountain at an extremely fast speed. Ling Xiao has discovered the entrance to the Chaos Temple. Are they trying to force their way in? In the surrounding void, the few imperial emperors looked surprised and bewildered. They had not expected the entrance to the passageway to be discovered so easily. So what if they've discovered it? Forcing their way into the passageway is simply courting death. In the passageway, the Holy Sun has set up the Supreme Emperor Array. That's the flawless Emperor Array left behind by the Sovereign. Even if a great Emperor-level expert survives, he will be severely injured. Although Ling Xiao is strong, it seems like he's just a brute. The leader of the emperors sneered. To them, Ling Xiao and the white dragon horse were more than happy to see them barging into the Chaos Temple. They could not wait for Ling Xiao and the white dragon horse to enter the flawless Emperor Array and be completely crushed by it. Rumble. The white dragon horse's body was surrounded by the power of wind and lightning. Lightning flashed and the radiance was dazzling. Its aura was so strong that it caused the surrounding void to tremble violently. Ling Xiao could have traveled through the void silently. However, this fellow was so arrogant that he had to create such a huge commotion. In the blink of an eye, he had arrived at the peak of the Genesis sacred mountain and quickly rushed into the void. Crack! The void was like a mirror and instantly shattered. Dazzling radiance filled the air and a mysterious passageway appeared before Ling Xiao and the white dragon horse. It led to an extremely mysterious world. The white dragon horse let out a proud dragon roar and instantly entered the passageway. Rumble. The moment Ling Xiao and the white dragon horse entered the passageway, runes appeared and a powerful array fluctuation filled the air. The origin of Tao intertwined and instantly, a terrifying killing array was activated. Chaotic light surged and boundless sword chi intertwined, causing the surrounding void to tremble as if it was going to be destroyed at any time. Extreme Emperor aura filled the air and terrifying killing intent continuously greeted Ling Xiao and the white dragon horse. Bastard, these guys are so despicable. The white dragon horse was enraged and its eyes were filled with ferocity. Why? Can't hold on any longer. If you can't hold on any longer, just let me know and I'll bring you into the Chaos Shrine. Ling Xiao looked indifferent as if he did not care about the killing intent around him. A faint smile appeared in his eyes as he looked at the white dragon horse and said slowly. Bullshit. Why can't I hold on? So what if it's the Supreme Emperor Array? I can move the heavens and traverse the myriad of worlds. Where in the world can't I go? The white dragon horse laughed proudly. Although it was angry, it did not panic. The white dragon horse had already expected this situation. It did not believe that the Chaos Shrine would allow itself to be captured without a fight. They must be up to no good. However, could a mere Emperor Array stop the great white dragon horse? They really knew nothing about power. Rumble. The blazing light around the white dragon horse rose. Above its head, a dragon's roar shook the void and a mysterious shadow of an ancestral dragon and a heavenly horse appeared. On the body of the white dragon horse, mysterious runes seemed to have awakened. They looked extremely ancient and the shadow of the white dragon horse became extremely illusory. Just as the killing intent surged towards them, the white dragon horse and Ling Xiao disappeared from where they were. He was like a mysterious ray of light that seemed to be able to pierce through reality and illusion. He walked through the endless void and directly penetrated the entire array. In the next moment, the white dragon horse brought Ling Xiao out of the passageway and came to an ancient and mysterious world. It was an extremely ancient small world. Enormous mountain ranges rose and fell continuously, ancient trees towered into the sky, and there were exotic flowers and herbs everywhere. It was suffused with a chaotic mist, and the source energy of the Grand Tao sprinkled down from the sky like rain, causing many precious and sacred medicines that only existed in legends to grow on the ground. The most eye-catching thing was the ancient heavenly palace temple above the 9 heavens. It looked as if it was cast from bronze. It was ancient and mysterious with a majestic aura, as if it was the residence of the gods. It was surrounded by endless chaotic light and exuded an ancient and eternal aura. The white dragon horse stepped on the void and stared at the huge heavenly palace. It let out a loud dragon's roar. Bastards of the Chaos Temple, come out and face your death. The white dragon horse's voice was filled with boundless arrogance. It was surrounded by dazzling light and mysterious shadows of the ancestral dragon and the heavenly horse. The wings of space spread out, making it look extremely majestic. The white dragon horse was extremely happy. It had not been so arrogant for a long time. In the past, in the divine world, in the Eternal Emperor Road, it had always behaved with its tail between its legs. It was extremely aggrieved to be hunted down by others. Now, it had come to the head of the 12 immortal sacred grounds, the Chaos Temple, to challenge them and say that it would destroy the Chaos Temple. This feeling was really good. Most importantly, Ling Xiao, who was riding on his back, gave the white dragon horse the confidence to be so arrogant. For the first time, the white dragon horse felt that it might be a good feeling to be a mount. They actually barged into the mini-chaotic world? How is that possible? The imperial emperors of the Chaos Temple were all stunned. Originally, they had hoped that the Chaos Temple's killing array would be able to put Ling Xiao in his place. Even if it could not kill Ling Xiao, it would make him look extremely miserable. However, They did not expect Ling Xiao to rush into the mini-chaotic world so easily. The Supreme Emperor array that they had set up was like air. Is it that dragon horse? He has awakened the ancestral dragon and the heavenly horse bloodline and has grown the wings of space. The wings of space are said to be able to travel through the heavens and realms. It has the fastest speed in the world and can penetrate all formations, seals, and barriers. Even the Emperor array cannot stop him. An aged Emperor Lord took a deep look at the white dragon horse. His eyes were filled with horror as he spoke. The dragon horse was an ancient divine beast with the bloodline of the heavenly horse and the ancestral dragon. It was said to be a mount that even the Supreme Emperor would fight for. They did not expect it to willingly become Ling Xiao's mount. This made them feel both shocked and jealous. Bastards of the Chaos Temple, do you really intend to be cowards? Come out and welcome the great Emperor Ling Xiao. The white dragon horse roared arrogantly again. Its voice was like thunder and it reverberated throughout the mini-chaotic world. Ling Xiao, don't you go too far. In the ancient Chaos Divine Palace, a young figure appeared. Behind him was a group of powerful imperial emperors. They stood in the air and faced Ling Xiao from afar. The young figure looked handsome and elegant, and he had an extraordinary figure. He wore a chaotic robe, had a chaotic bell on his head, and had a gaze that was like lightning. He was extremely cold and indifferent, and he emanated a peerlessly powerful chaotic origin energy. It was the Chaos Saint. Chapter 33-38. The primal Chaos Saint's expression was extremely cold, and his eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Beside him stood an elder with white hair and beard. He wore a linen robe and held a bamboo staff in his hand. He looked like an immortal, and his entire body exuded an ethereal and otherworldly aura. His eyes seemed to reflect the scene of all living beings. He looked deep and wise, and when he looked at you, you would feel like you were being seen through. Ling Xiao, we are all from the human race. Why do you have to be so overbearing? If we kill each other, we will only be a joke to the demon race and the other races who covet the human race. The hemp-robed old man sighed softly as he looked at Ling Xiao. Overbearing? Overbearing? Why didn't you say that when you schemed against me? Why didn't you say that when you attacked my daughter? I didn't expect that the Primal Chaos Shrine and the Destiny Shrine would gather here today. It seems like you are determined to be my enemy. Ling Xiao looked at the Primal Chaos Saint and the Elder in linen robe and sneered. The Elder in linen robe was the master of the Destiny Shrine. People called him the Destiny Ancestor. Legend had it that the Destiny Ancestor was a figure from the previous era. He was a genius of the same era as the Heavenly Emperor. Although he had yet to become an emperor, he had relied on a supreme treasure to survive until today. Moreover, Ling Xiao noticed that the elder in linen robe was extremely powerful. He had already condensed a few Tao spirits. He was probably only a step away from becoming an emperor. Ling Xiao, Wuji schemed against you for the greater good of the human race. He did not do it out of selfishness. If he apologizes to you, can you bury the hatchet for my sake? Wuji has the chaotic body and will soon become an emperor. When that time comes, he will be the 10th emperor of the human race and the master of the human race. Are you sure you want to do something that will hurt your loved ones and delight your enemies? The Destiny Ancestor sighed and tried his best to persuade Ling Xiao. Hurt your loved ones and delight your enemies? What a master of the human race! Who agreed that he was the master of the human race? You schemed against me and murdered my daughter. Is this for the greater good of the human race? I've seen shameless people, but I've never seen people as shameless as you. There's no point in talking anymore. Since you've chosen to resist, then don't blame me for killing you all. Ling Xiao's voice was filled with killing intent as he looked at the Fate Ancestor with disgust. This old thing was nothing more than a sanctimonious hypocrite. However, there were many such hypocrites in the human race. They did shameless things and liked to stand on the moral high ground to criticize others. When the non-humankind invaded, people like him were the first ones to surrender to the non-humankind and betray the humankind. What arrogance! Ling Xiao, do you really think I'm afraid of you? The primal chaos saint stared at Ling Xiao and laughed in anger. There was killing intent in his eyes, as well as unconcealable jealousy. He was the saint of chaos and possessed the chaotic body. He was the successor of the Chaos Temple and was also known as the most likely person to become the 10th emperor of the human race. He was the peerless genius who would lead the human race back to glory. However, everything had changed because of Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao was arrogant and had made the entire world his enemy. He had offended all the powerful races and experts in the universe. However, he had also gained the approval of the Emperor of Kunlun Mountain and the human Emperor Jiang Yuyang. Why? The Saint of Chaos felt extremely indignant. In his opinion, someone like Ling Xiao would lead the human race to extinction sooner or later. How could such a person be worthy of being the leader of the human race? He had chosen to submit to the Lord Ruler and endured humiliation in order to ensure the survival of the human race. However, Ling Xiao was too arrogant and did not understand any of this. Most importantly, he did not understand how powerful the Lord Ruler was. Therefore, the Saint of Chaos felt that the stronger Ling Xiao was, the more he would lead the human race to extinction. That was why he had schemed against Ling Xiao several times. Although there was a personal grudge, it was mostly for the sake of justice. There's no point in talking anymore. Let's fight. Ling Xiao said indifferently. The people in front of him and the Saint of Chaos were on different paths. As the saying went, there was no point in making plans together. However, they should not have offended Ling Xiao. If they offended him, they could only die. Let's fight. I'd like to see how capable you are to be able to kill 4 great emperors. The Saint of Chaos said coldly. Rumble. Chaotic light gushed out from his body, and his eyes were filled with an unparalleled fighting spirit. He suddenly roared, and then punched towards Ling Xiao. Chaotic light intertwined within the Saint of Chaos body. Chaotic runes spread out, causing his body to emit an immortal and mysterious light. There seemed to be a chaotic sun in front of his chest that was emitting dazzling light, providing him with endless power. Ling Xiao felt that the Saint of Chaos punch was no weaker than a peak great emperor's. Since when did the Saint of Chaos become so strong? His chaotic body seems to have completely awakened. Moreover, he has cultivated an extremely powerful fist technique. In terms of physical strength, he's probably not much weaker than Changsheng. Is this the work of the chaotic emperor? Ling Xiao's eyes flickered. Thoughts raced in his mind. He also threw a punch at the Saint of Chaos. Crack! The void shook as the 2 fists collided in the void. In an instant, unparalleled light exploded. It swept out like a storm and destroyed everything. The void shattered, and Ling Xiao's figure stood in the void without moving, while the primal Chaos Saint was sent flying by his punch. Even though the Saint of Chaos had an unparalleled physical body, there was still a huge gap between him and Ling Xiao. Again. The Saint of Chaos' eyes were extremely sharp. His entire body emitted an extremely powerful battle intent. Not only was he not afraid, he charged at Ling Xiao again. Boom! There seemed to be a chaotic storm around him, causing the world around him to tremble violently. His strength seemed to have doubled in an instant. The unparalleled chaotic fist pressed down on Ling Xiao. Infinite chaos, infinite destiny, 2 become 1, give birth to Tai Chi, 1 point of the spiritual altar, the ultimate power, the destiny ancestor floated in the void and chanted an ancient and mysterious sutra. The bamboo staff in his hand shone with a mysterious light. It was as if there was an endless aura of destiny spreading out from it. This was the scepter of destiny, the supreme treasure of the fane of destiny. With the scepter of destiny, one could explore destiny and see through everything. Moreover, the destiny ancestor seemed to have added a mysterious power to the Saint of Chaos, causing his strength to skyrocket. Boom! 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 The Saint of Chaos was unparalleled. The chaotic fist print seemed to be able to suppress everything. In an instant, he threw hundreds of punches at Ling Xiao. Each punch contained the power of the ultimate path. Although Ling Xiao easily blasted the Saint of Chaos away, the Saint of Chaos became more courageous as the fight went on. He did not seem to be injured by Ling Xiao at all. His entire being became extremely violent. Something's wrong. The white dragon horse's eyes revealed a strange look. Although it could easily lead Ling Xiao to avoid the Saint of Chaos attacks, Ling Xiao seemed to have chosen to fight the Saint of Chaos head-on. This made the white dragon horse feel bored. At the same time, it also realized that something was wrong. The aura of the Saint of Chaos rose as if it was about to reach an unimaginable level. You want to use my strength to take that final step? Let's see if you can withstand it. Ling Xiao said with a cold smile. He could already see that the Saint of Chaos had reached an extreme level. His essence, qi, and spirit had reached the peak. He wanted to use this battle to take the final step and become an emperor. Boom! The sovereign power in Ling Xiao's body surged. He threw out a punch and the surrounding chaos instantly exploded. The unparalleled fist print pressed down on the Saint of Chaos as if it wanted to crush everything into dust. Sensing the terrifying fist print of Ling Xiao, the Saint of Chaos expression changed drastically. He felt the great threat from Ling Xiao's punch. It was as if he could die under this punch at any time. Chaos heavenly punishment. The primal Chaos Saint bellowed with a hint of madness in his eyes. Rumble. Endless chaotic lightning bloomed. His entire body emitted a dazzling light. He instantly shot up into the sky as an extreme emperor's aura bloomed from his body. He had triggered the emperor's tribulation. He wanted to pass the emperor's tribulation and become an emperor. The vast heavenly might gathered with the Saint of Chaos and exploded into a thunderous fist print. It collided with Ling Xiao's sovereign fist. Crack! The void shook and the heavens and earth shattered. It was as if everything had withered and ceased to exist. All that was left was a vast expanse of dazzling white light. The Saint of Chaos suddenly flew across the sky. His arms seemed to have exploded in an instant. He coughed out blood as if he had suffered an unimaginable injury. Ha ha ha, however, the Saint of Chaos was not angry. Instead, he was elated as he laughed heartily. Rumble. Streaks of chaotic lightning fell from the sky like pillars of light. In an instant, they enveloped Ling Xiao's body and enveloped him. 9 dazzling balls of light floated in the sky. Each ball of light contained an extremely powerful emperor weapon. It was as if they had formed a prison and trapped Ling Xiao. In addition to the Primal Chaos Saint's Bell of Primal Chaos, there were 10 Apex Dao Emperor weapons. Boom! 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 Numerous powerful auras appeared from all directions. Their expressions were incomparably cold as they enveloped Ling Xiao. In addition to the Saint of Chaos and the Fate Ancestor, there were 10 peerless emperors. Each of them wielded a powerful emperor weapon. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. At the same time, the vast emperor's tribulation surged like a heavenly punishment. It locked the Saint of Chaos and Ling Xiao in place. Ling Xiao, I'd like to see if you can survive today. The Saint of Chaos's eyes were filled with chilling killing intent as he stared at Ling Xiao. This is the demon race's 10-direction annihilation formation. 10 peerless emperors wielding 10 emperor weapons. Now that you've triggered the emperor's tribulation, it seems like you've put in a lot of effort to kill me. Ling Xiao looked at the Saint of Chaos with a faint smile and said flatly. The 10-direction annihilation formation was a forbidden formation of the demon race. With the 10 great emperor weapons as the formation core, the 10 great emperor weapons could unleash the supreme power of the 10 great emperor weapons at the same time. It could even kill a great emperor. Not to mention, the Saint of Chaos had triggered the emperor's tribulation. Under the emperor's tribulation, all living beings who tried to go against the heavens would be killed by the heavens. Even great emperors were no exception. This was their true killing move against Ling Xiao. Chapter 33-39. Ling Xiao, you will die today. I will become an emperor and become the 10th emperor of the human race. I will lead the human race to the top. You can die in peace. The Chaos Saint stared at Ling Xiao and said coldly. His voice was like thunder, shaking the void. Crack. He was bathed in the lightning tribulation. Streaks of chaotic lightning fell from the sky, intertwining with the great Tao divine sound. Flowers fell from the sky and various mysterious scenes appeared. This was the Chaos Saint's Emperor Tribulation and also Ling Xiao's Death Tribulation. The Emperor Tribulation could only be passed by the person undergoing it. Anyone who dared to interfere with the Emperor Tribulation would be killed by the heavenly Tao. Therefore, when the Chaos Saint was going through the tribulation, the vast chaotic lightning surged and the terrifying heavenly punishment descended. Kill him! The Fate Ancestor roared. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. Rumble. The 10 chaos treasures bloomed with dazzling light at the same time. The extreme Emperor aura surged and the terrifying murderous intent seemed to be able to wipe out everything. Even the white dragon horse could not help but shrink its head. Its eyes were filled with fear. Ling Xiao, why don't we run? The annihilation formation is too terrifying. There is also the heavenly punishment. If this continues, we will die. The white dragon horse said with trepidation. Run? Do you think you can run away? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. If it was just the annihilation formation, I wouldn't be afraid. But the primal Chaos Saint fucking triggered the heavenly Tao's thunder punishment and locked onto us. There's no way we can escape. The white dragon horse looked at Ling Xiao and said. If we can't escape, then let's fight. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes shone with a dazzling light. Boom! His blood and chi surged and the sovereign power spread throughout his body. He exuded an aura that was incompatible with the heavens and earth. The incomparably turbulent heavenly law lightning punishment seemed to be able to obliterate everything as it descended from the heavens and blasted onto Ling Xiao's body. Ling Xiao's entire body was intertwined with lightning and thunder. The destructive power wanted to enter his body and completely destroy his life force. At the same time, the 10 Forces Annihilation Grand Formation was fully activated. The 10 Extreme Tao Emperor weapons were fully awakened. They were like 10 mighty emperors that charged towards Ling Xiao. Even an epic great emperor would find it difficult to resist such monstrous killing intent. This was also a trap that the primal Chaos Saint had set for Ling Xiao. He wanted to kill Ling Xiao and then use Ling Xiao's heavenly fate to help him take the final step and ascend to the Supreme Emperor realm. Rumble. Ling Xiao soared into the sky. His body was bathed in lightning, but it was unable to cause him any harm. Instead, he pushed the endless lightning and turned it into an extremely powerful fist that blasted towards the 9 heavens. That fist was like an immortal and indestructible chaotic divine mountain. It contained the power of creation and destruction that could split the heavens and the earth apart, and it transformed into eternity above the 9 heavens. At this moment, heaven and earth trembled. At this moment, the sun and moon lost their light. At this moment, time came to a standstill. All that was left before everyone's eyes was the terrifying fist print that collided with the lightning and the 10 Extreme Tao Emperor weapons at the same time. Boom! The lightning that filled the sky was like a volcanic eruption, exploding with a loud bang and spreading in all directions. The 10 Extreme Tao Emperor weapons that were intertwined with each other shook violently. It was as if they had been hit by an invincible divine force and were sent flying. Puff, the primal Chaos Saint, Fate Ancestor, and the other emperors suffered a great backlash because the Extreme Tao Emperor weapons were damaged. Their bodies shook violently and they spat out mouthfuls of blood. The incomparably powerful 10-direction Annihilation Grand Formation actually exploded under the unparalleled fist imprint in an instant. What? Many experts' faces changed drastically. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Fate Ancestor was especially shocked. When he had activated the Scepter of Fate previously, he had seen a glimpse of the future and the scene of Ling Xiao's death. However, in the blink of an eye, the future was torn apart and everything turned into chaos. The powerful 10 Forces Annihilation Grand Formation, which could trap and kill great emperors, was destroyed by Ling Xiao's fist. How could Ling Xiao's strength be so strong? do you really think that a mere Tao-proving Emperor Tribulation can kill me? Wuji, you want to kill me, but you really know nothing about power. Ling Xiao sneered and stared at the pale-faced primal chaos saint. His eyes were filled with a bright light. Rumble. He rode the white dragon horse and soared into the sky. The thunder and lightning above the ninth heaven contained the vast origin of the great path. It was formed by the power of the heavenly path. Its power was terrifying and unparalleled, as if it could destroy everything. This was the Tao Corroboration Emperor Tribulation, and also the heavenly Tao's lightning punishment. Even peerless imperial emperors wouldn't be willing to face the heavenly Tao's lightning punishment. But just like that, Ling Xiao rode the white dragon horse into the blazing sea of lightning. Boom! 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 The vast sovereign power intertwined and Ling Xiao's body emitted an immortal light. The heavenly punishment lightning did not seem to cause him any harm. Ling Xiao's fists were like dragons and the unparalleled Fist Prince seemed to be able to suppress everything. As the Fist Prince fell, the heavenly punishment lightning surged and trembled violently. In the end, it was also destroyed by Ling Xiao. The primal chaos saint's Tao proving Emperor Tribulation was destroyed by Ling Xiao just like that. Ah! How is this possible? The primal chaos saint trembled and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Blood kept spurting out of his mouth. This was his Tao proving Emperor Tribulation, but now it was destroyed by Ling Xiao. The primal chaos saint instantly suffered a backlash from the heavenly Tao energy. This backlash was not something he could bear. The origin energy in his body became extremely chaotic and even the origin Tao spirit that he had formed was on the verge of collapse. Is this the killing move that you used against me? What a disappointment. Ling Xiao's gaze swept across the primal chaos saint, the fate ancestor, and everyone else. There was a trace of indifference in his eyes. Do you think ants like you can defeat the great Emperor Ling Xiao? You're like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Why don't you kneel down and surrender? The white dragon horse also started to show off and its eyes were filled with arrogance. It was also scared out of its wits earlier. The Apocalypse Array and the Tao proving Emperor Tribulation were intertwined and were enough to suppress it. It was afraid that if Ling Xiao could not withstand it, it would die with him. Ling Xiao did not disappoint it. The punch that made the white dragon horse's scalp numb not only destroyed everything but also suppressed the primal chaos saint and everyone else. Now, the people from the primal chaos temple and the fate shrine were looking at Ling Xiao with panic in their eyes. Even the saint of primal chaos and the old ancestor of fate could not withstand a single blow from Ling Xiao. Who else could stop Ling Xiao? Were the primal chaos temple and the fate shrine really going to be destroyed today? Ling Xiao, don't be so smug. If it wasn't for the secret of transcendence, you would have died countless times. However, do you really think that you are invincible after defeating us? The primal chaos saint's face was extremely pale. His eyes were filled with unwillingness, anger, jealousy, and madness as he stared at Ling Xiao. He was extremely jealous of Ling Xiao. If Ling Xiao did not have the secret of transcendence, how could he have lost to Ling Xiao? If the secret of transcendence had fallen into his hands, Ling Xiao would be the one kneeling in front of him like a dead dog. The primal chaos saint's heart was about to be swallowed by jealousy and madness. Wuji, do you still not understand? You are just a pawn of the primal chaos emperor. He has already proven the Tao of primal chaos while you cultivate the Tao of primal chaos. Even if I don't break your Tao proving Emperor Tribulation, you will definitely fail. Since the Heavenly Emperor, the human tribe has understood this principle. The human tribe does not bow to the heavens, kneel to the earth, rely on others, or live in humiliation. They can only rely on themselves. Only when the human tribe is strong can they be truly powerful. But unfortunately, you don't understand this logic that everyone understands. After all, the primal chaos emperor is not a human tribe. As the saying goes, those who are not of the human tribe are bound to have different intentions. He is using you, but you are willing to do so. How sad. Ling Xiao shook his head and looked at the primal chaos saint calmly. His words made the primal chaos saint's face turn paler and paler, and he became more and more ferocious. It was as if his self-consolation had been exposed. Nonsense. The primal chaos master is the greatest existence in the universe. You don't understand how powerful he is. When he returns, he will be invincible in the Eldritch continent. All the races in the universe will have to grovel at his feet. Being his enemy will only lead to the destruction of the human tribe. Ling Xiao, you deserve to die. It's because of you that the human race has fallen into a state of eternal damnation. Today, even if I have to risk my life, I will kill you. The primal chaos saint stared at Ling Xiao and said coldly. When he mentioned the primal chaos master, his eyes were filled with fanaticism and madness. You are so stubborn. Ling Xiao shook his head indifferently. Ling Xiao, today I will show you what kind of power the great primal chaos master has. The primal chaos saint stared at Ling Xiao and said slowly. His eyes were filled with a strange look. Boom! The chaotic light around him rose, and an ancient rune appeared on the primal chaos divine sun in front of his chest. In an instant, it bloomed in the void. An ancient and mysterious aura filled the air, and the divine sound of the great Tao intertwined. It was like the chanting of the ancient people, as if they were summoning a great existence. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply. He could clearly feel that the aura around the primal chaos saint was becoming more and more terrifying, as if a sleeping emperor had awakened. However, the power of the primal chaos saint's primal spirit was rapidly declining, as if he had fallen into a state of sacrifice. The vitality in his body was rapidly disappearing. Is he summoning the primal chaos emperor? Ling Xiao's heart jumped, but he did not stop him. This was because it was useless to stop him now. The primal chaos saint's primal spirit and vitality were clearly connected to the primal chaos emperor, and this connection could not be severed. Now, the primal chaos saint was determined to summon the primal chaos emperor back and kill Ling Xiao even if he had to sacrifice his own life and primal spirit. Ling Xiao, did this guy really summon the primal chaos emperor? The white dragon horse felt its scalp tingle and asked weakly. If the primal chaos emperor had already awakened, he would have appeared long ago. He would not have waited until now. I guess that he is summoning an existence similar to the primal chaos emperor's incarnation. Ling Xiao said slowly. His eyes flashed with a strong fighting spirit. He wanted to see just how strong this person, one of the 4 strongest sovereigns since ancient times, was. Boom! The primal chaos divine palace floating in the distance also bloomed with blazing light. The chaotic mist rose, and the surrounding void trembled violently. An ancient and mysterious voice resounded in the void. Who is summoning me? The primal chaos saint opened his eyes abruptly. His eyes became indifferent and cold, as if he was a completely different person. He was extremely unfamiliar. He was still an unparalleled imperial emperor, but his aura skyrocketed at this moment. His body exuded a wave of energy that made Ling Xiao feel extremely dangerous. Lord Ruler, please kill Ling Xiao. He wants to destroy the Primal Chaos Divine Palace and the Destiny Divine Palace. This guy is extremely cruel and deserves to die. The Destiny Ancestor and the other Imperial Emperors could not help but tremble. Their eyes were filled with excitement and fanaticism as they knelt down before the Primal Chaos Saint. They now understood that the Primal Chaos Saint was no longer the Primal Chaos Saint, but the Primal Chaos Emperor's power that had awakened. Ling Xiao saw that the Primal Chaos Divine Palace seemed to have accumulated a terrifying amount of energy, and it had all merged into the Primal Chaos Saint's body at this moment. That terrifying aura was much stronger than that of an ordinary great emperor of an epoch. You are Ling Xiao. The Primal Chaos Emperor said indifferently as he stared at Ling Xiao. Although he still had the appearance of the Primal Chaos Saint, his eyes had completely changed. They had become indifferent and cold. It was a kind of indifference that looked down on all living things as if they were nothing. He looked down at Ling Xiao like a divine dragon looking down on an ant. There was a mysterious wave in his voice that made the primal spirits of Ling Xiao and the white dragon horse tremble slightly. You are the Primal Chaos Emperor. Ling Xiao stared at the Primal Chaos Emperor and asked in return. Although the Primal Chaos Emperor was exuding an extremely dangerous aura, Ling Xiao's eyes were still filled with a strong desire to fight. That's right. It is indeed the aura of transcendence. Ling Xiao, submit to me and I will help you become a true transcendent, eternal and indestructible. The Primal Chaos Emperor said indifferently. There was no emotion in his voice, but there was a majesty that no one dared to defy. Help me become a true transcendent. You haven't even transcended. How are you going to help me? Ling Xiao smiled and there was a hint of mockery at the corner of his mouth. The Primal Chaos Emperor was indeed very strong. He was so strong that Ling Xiao felt a strong sense of danger even though he was just an incarnation. However, Ling Xiao wasn't afraid at all. No matter how strong the Primal Chaos Emperor was, he was just an epic emperor. Even if he had 108 eras of cultivation, he still hadn't transcended. Although Ling Xiao didn't know how the Primal Chaos Emperor had lived for 108 eras, he was similar to the Undying Demon Emperor. No matter how strong a person like him was, he was just a rat living in the gutter. Chapter 3340. So, you have chosen to reject me? You know nothing about the transcendence and you know nothing about me. The Chaotic Emperor stared at Ling Xiao and said indifferently. Defeat me. If you can defeat me, I might consider submitting to you. If you can't even defeat me, how can I submit to you? Ling Xiao said indifferently. His eyes were filled with strong fighting spirit. If that's the case, I shall fulfill your wish. The Chaotic Emperor said calmly. He was surrounded by chaotic light and looked like a chaotic void that had merged with the ancient world. However, he seemed to be everywhere at the same time. As soon as he finished speaking, an ethereal chaotic palm print pressed down on Ling Xiao. When the palm landed, it was as if heaven and earth had been turned upside down. The world was completely shattered and returned to chaos. All life was gone and only a white void was left. This palm strike was similar to Ling Xiao's fist of the epical epoch. Good timing. Ling Xiao's eyes glowed with an incomparably sharp light. In the face of the Primal Chaos Emperor's attack, the light around him was mysterious and immortal. The power of the sovereign gathered on his fist radiance, and an unparalleled fist mark erupted. A huge fist print instantly pierced through the void, as though it had broken through the barriers of time that had existed since time immemorial, and punched toward Emperor Chaos. The Epic Fist. This was a pure killing fist that Ling Xiao had comprehended. It was also a fist of destruction. It wanted to break one epoch after another and create a new one. It contained the great power of destruction and the wisp of indestructible vitality. Rumble. The fist and the palm print collided and the void trembled violently. Ling Xiao felt a surge of chaotic energy rushing toward him. His entire body shook and he couldn't help but retreat. His surroundings seemed to have turned into a vast expanse of whiteness. Divine chains of order that were suffused with chaotic colors instantly wrapped around his body, wanting to extract his power. The immortal and indestructible palm print turned into thousands of palm prints in an instant. They collided with Ling Xiao's epic fist essence and destroyed everything. They continued to land on Ling Xiao's physical body. Even though Ling Xiao's physical body was immortal and the power in his body had condensed into the power of sovereign, the chaotic palm prints still caused him intense pain. That feeling was as if his entire body was being torn apart. Moreover, the ancient and boundless chaos intent seemed to rush into his soul from his sea of consciousness, completely assimilating his soul into the boundless chaos. Break! Ling Xiao's eyes were as sharp as swords. He threw out hundreds of punches in succession, directly tearing apart the palm print of the Primal Chaos Emperor, and extricating himself from that boundless artistic conception. What a powerful chaos concept! As expected of the Primal Chaos Emperor. Ling Xiao's eyes were incomparably sharp as he slowly said. The Primal Chaos Emperor in front of him was indeed unfathomably powerful. Although it was just a wisp of his incarnation, Ling Xiao felt that it was even stronger than the Undying Demon Emperor. If Ling Xiao hadn't refined the life origin of those great emperors and reached 70% fusion of the great Tao, he probably wouldn't have been able to withstand this palm strike. You've actually walked your own path. You didn't fail to live up to the secret of transcendence, but you're still too weak without proving your Tao. The primal chaos emperor stared at Ling Xiao and said indifferently. A blazing light rose from the palm of his hand. It was a supreme sword qi that unfolded the chaos and split the heavens and earth. It mightily slashed toward Ling Xiao. The sword qi was unparalleled, as if it was going to completely destroy this small world. There was only a vast expanse of whiteness left between heaven and earth. Ling Xiao could see that this sword seemed to have frozen space and time as it slashed toward his glabella. Sword, come! Ling Xiao roared, and only a sword chime could be heard. The surrounding void trembled violently, and hundreds of millions of sword qi burst out from all directions. The sky-devouring sword bloomed with a dazzling light. It looked ancient and mysterious, and contained a peerless sharpness. It instantly appeared in Ling Xiao's palm. Buzz! The sky-devouring sword buzzed incessantly, containing joy and a strong fighting spirit. The sword light illuminated the world as it slashed toward the primal chaos emperor. Ling Xiao's eyes were cold and filled with a strong killing intent. He did not dodge and allowed the primal chaos emperor's sword light to slash at him. At the same time, the sky-devouring sword slashed toward the primal chaos emperor. His immortal physical body was extremely strong, comparable to an ultimate emperor weapon. He was not afraid even if he took the sword qi head-on. On the other hand, the primal chaos emperor's incarnation had occupied the physical body of the primal chaos saint. His physical body was much weaker than Ling Xiao's. His sword qi might be able to severely injure Ling Xiao, but if he was hit by Ling Xiao's sword, his incarnation would be destroyed immediately and he would be completely annihilated. Buzz! The primal chaos emperor seemed to have sensed Ling Xiao's intention. The sword qi in the primal chaos emperor's palm turned back at a strange angle and blocked the sky-devouring sword. Clang! The sword qi buzzed and swept out in all directions like a windstorm. With one sword, the difference between Ling Xiao and the primal chaos emperor was reversed. After Ling Xiao gained the upper hand, he did not hesitate. The sky-devouring sword in his hand burst out billions of sword lights and slashed toward the primal chaos emperor. The primal chaos emperor's strength was extremely terrifying. His life origin was boundless and his understanding of the Tao of chaos was not something Ling Xiao could compare with. However, his greatest disadvantage was that he did not come with his real body. Ling Xiao had come out of the Eternal Emperor Road and obtained the secret of transcendence. He had embarked on the path of unification of all Taos. Although he had yet to become an emperor, he was invincible. Even if it was the chaotic emperor, it would not be easy for him to defeat Ling Xiao with just a wisp of his incarnation, as long as his real body was not present. Rumble! Ling Xiao held the sky-devouring sword in one hand and his sword qi swept across billions of miles. He formed an invincible fist print with his other hand. The creation fist and the dominator's fist alternated and his unparalleled physical strength exploded to the extreme. Although the battle between him and the primal chaos emperor seemed unpredictable, it was extremely dangerous. Once the battle broke out, every move was aimed at the opponent's vital points. The white dragon horse felt its scalp tingle. Although it had extreme speed and was protected by Ling Xiao, the invincible aura of the primal chaos emperor still made it feel breathless. Forefather, what should we do? Ling Xiao and the Dominator are locked in battle. Could it be that even the Dominator can't kill him? Many imperial emperors looked at the Fate Ancestor with bewilderment in their eyes. Everyone, don't panic. The Dominator is extremely powerful and can definitely kill Ling Xiao. However, to prevent any mishaps, we should take the initiative to help the Dominator. The Fate Ancestor gritted his teeth and said with a pale face as he watched the battle unfold before him. How can we help? Everyone asked. Continue to use the 10-direction annihilation formation and kill the dragon horse. The dragon horse's extreme speed is also the reason why Ling Xiao can fight the Dominator. If we kill the dragon horse, Ling Xiao's strength will be greatly reduced and he will soon die at the Dominator's hands. The Fate Forefather's eyes flashed with a strange light as he stared at the white dragon horse. Kill the dragon horse? Good idea. That's right. Let's do it. The dragon horse has extreme speed and even the great emperors can't match it. If we kill it, Ling Xiao will definitely die. Everyone, let's attack together and kill that wretched dragon horse. Everyone's eyes lit up as they spoke with righteous indignation. Their eyes were filled with excitement. Kill! Under the lead of the Fate Forefather, many experts roared and formed the 10-direction annihilation formation. 10 extreme Dao Emperor weapons shone with dazzling light at the same time. Another forefather came out from the Chaos Shrine and activated the Chaos Bell to replace the Chaos Saint's position. The 10 Supreme Experts activated the 10 extreme Dao Emperor weapons and formed a light pillar that pierced the heavens and the earth. It formed a prison and attacked the dragon horse at the same time. Bastards, do you really think that I'm a pushover? When the white dragon horse saw that everyone had formed the 10-direction annihilation formation and was charging at it again, it was instantly enraged. Its eyes were filled with murderous intent. These bastards, they bully the weak and fear the strong. They don't dare to face Ling Xiao and they dare to bully me. If I don't teach you a lesson, you won't know how powerful I am. Ling Xiao, kill them. The white dragon horse's eyes darted around before it finally shouted at Ling Xiao. Swoosh! Ling Xiao's eyes were indifferent and filled with strong battle intent. He did not even look at the Fate Forefather and the others. However, after hearing the white dragon horse's words, he slashed out with his sword. Boom! The dazzling sword radiance pierced through everything and collided with the scepter of fate of the Fate Forefather. The dazzling radiance bloomed and the scepter of fate buzzed as if it was going to shatter at any time. This is my chance. The white dragon horse's eyes lit up and it roared. The Pegasus meteor fist exploded and its huge hooves kicked the Fate Forefather's chest. Crack! Following a scream, the Fate Forefather's chest caved in and his bones were broken. Blood spurted out of his mouth and he was sent flying. Despicable! Shameless! Damned white dragon horse, fight us one-on-one if you dare. The crowd cursed as the extreme Dao Monarch weapons continued to attack the white dragon horse. However, the white dragon horse was very slippery. After kicking the Fate Forefather, it knew when to stop and return to Ling Xiao's protection. Although the extreme Dao Emperor weapons were strong, they were blocked by the aftermath of the battle between Ling Xiao and the Primal Chaos Emperor. Occasionally, they would be sent flying by Ling Xiao's sword. On the other hand, the white dragon horse would seize the opportunity to launch sneak attacks. However, the white dragon horse possessed extreme speed and could almost pierce through time and space. Every time Ling Xiao sent an extreme Dao Emperor weapon flying, he would accurately, steadily, and ruthlessly stomp on the imperial emperors, causing them to cry for their parents and cry out in pain. The white dragon horse possessed the bloodline of the ancestor dragon and the Pegasus. Not only was it extremely fast, its physical body was also extremely terrifying. Without the protection of the extreme Dao Emperor weapons, how could the imperial emperors stop the white dragon horse? The so-called encirclement to kill the white dragon horse was a joke. Damn it, this despicable white dragon horse has been hiding beside Ling Xiao and refused to come out to fight us one-on-one. We can't kill it at all. Many imperial emperors flew into a rage. They were all dumbfounded. No matter how much they yelled and cursed, the white dragon horse refused to come out. Only when Ling Xiao made a move, would it give them a kick to finish them off. Damn it, it was so wretched. You bastards want to deal with me, your grandpa. Go home and drink your mother's milk. The white dragon horse sneered and its eyes were filled with arrogance. It was so good to have a backer. If it was him who was facing the Annihilation Grand Formation, he would have been scared witless and run away. However, with Ling Xiao around, the Annihilation Grand Formation was a joke. Even if the extreme Dao Emperor weapons were revived, they would not be able to withstand Ling Xiao's attack. Just as the white dragon horse was happily killing the imperial emperors, two uninvited guests moved into the mini-chaotic world. I didn't expect the chaotic saint to side with the chaotic emperor. How despicable and shameless. Such a person is the disgrace of the human tribe. The old goat looked at the chaotic emperor who was fighting with Ling Xiao in the distance, and his eyes were filled with disdain. The chaotic emperor is really strong. It's just an incarnation. If we take action, Ling Xiao might be able to suppress this incarnation effortlessly. Daoist Wuliang said with a thoughtful look in his eyes. The two of them had separated from Ling Xiao and sneaked into the mini-chaotic world. No one had discovered their tracks. After hearing Taoist Wuliang's words, the old goat's eyes lit up. What idea? If Ling Xiao can suppress this incarnation, we can refine its soul and investigate the chaotic emperor's background. We might be able to find the chaotic emperor's whereabouts and kill this bastard first. The old goat said eagerly. Do you think the chaotic emperor is so easy to kill? However, Ling Xiao lacks a large amount of life origin. Although this is just an incarnation, if Ling Xiao can refine it, he will definitely obtain a large amount of life origin. Do you see the chaotic divine palace? If I'm not wrong, that's where the chaotic emperor is nurturing his incarnation. Although it's just an incarnation, I'm afraid it has been nurtured for countless years. The life origin is so majestic that even an ordinary great emperor can't compare to it. We might be able to think of a way to destroy the chaotic divine palace. By then, even if the incarnation doesn't die, it will be severely injured and suppressed by Ling Xiao. Daoist Wuliang's eyes revealed a wisp of wisdom as he spoke slowly. Destroy the chaotic divine palace? Haha, that's a big move. However, even if the chaotic divine palace isn't an extreme grade emperor weapon, it's almost the same. It won't be that easy for us to destroy it. The old goat said with excitement and frustration. Don't worry, I have an idea. Follow me. Taoist Wuliang glanced at the primal chaos emperor and Ling Xiao with a confident smile. He pulled the old goat and stealthily headed towards the primal chaos shrine. Third sect leader. Chapter 33-41. There was a gray stone talisman in Daoist Wuliang's palm. It was filled with chaotic colors and looked extremely ancient. The intertwining patterns on it flickered as if they were outlining the truth of heaven and earth. The chaotic light emitted from the stone talisman enveloped Daoist Wuliang and the old goat. It seemed to have merged with the surrounding chaotic aura and concealed all of their auras. This was the Great Tao Ancestral Talisman, an inherited treasure of the Tao tribe. Daoist Wuliang had obtained the Great Tao Ancestral Talisman in the Eternal Emperor's Road and also the complete inheritance of the Tao tribe. The Great Tao Ancestral Talisman was extremely mysterious and could imprint all kinds of mysterious talismans. It was rumored that the Great Tao Ancestral Talisman was imprinted with 3,000 marks of the Great Tao. It was an earth-shattering treasure. Under the cover of the Great Tao Ancestral Talisman, even a great emperor would not be able to detect the auras of Daoist Wuliang and the old goat. They soon arrived in front of the Chaos Temple. At this moment, the Chaos Temple was spewing out dazzling chaos light. The vast life origin was continuously fusing into the Chaos Saint's body, supporting the Chaos Emperor's power. The temple is open. It seems that we can save some effort and sneak in directly. The old goat's eyes lit up and he transmitted his voice to Daoist Wuliang. Don't be careless. The Chaos Temple is probably a backup plan left behind by the Chaos Emperor. We have to be careful. If we can cut off the connection between him and the Chaos Temple, Ling Xiao can easily kill him. Daoist Wuliang said slowly. Buzz. They were like two streaks of chaotic mist that floated into the Chaos Temple. Rumble. A vast and majestic life force rushed toward them. There was a vast golden ocean in the Chaos Temple that contained a vast amount of life origin. At this moment, huge waves were surging violently. At the center of the wave, a primal chaos altar shone with dazzling light. Runes rose, and an endless stream of life origin soared into the sky from the altar. Like a dazzling pillar of light, it fused into the body of the primal chaos saint. The Chaos Temple has accumulated such a vast amount of life origin. Even a great emperor would not be able to do so, right? The old goat widened his eyes in disbelief. The life origin in the Chaos Divine Palace contains the aura of all the races in the universe, including the human race, the demon race, the devil race, the sorcerer race, and even the immortal race. I'm afraid that the life origin of those supreme experts must have been sucked dry and gathered here. It must have taken hundreds of millions of years for this sea of life to form. Daoist Wuliang's eyes flashed as he said slowly. Rob his mother. With so much life force origin energy, he had to snatch it back for Ling Xiao. Why don't we set up a formation to cut off the connection between the Chaos Emperor and the Chaos Temple so that he can take the Chaos Temple away? The old goat said fiercely. He was eager to give it a try. The Chaos Temple is a supreme treasure. I'm afraid it's a trump card left behind by the Chaos Emperor. It's unrealistic to try and steal the Chaos Temple. However, as long as we cut off the connection between the Primal Chaos Temple and the Primal Chaos Emperor, the Primal Chaos Emperor won't be able to replenish his life force. It will only take a moment for him to die at Ling Xiao's hands. Daoist Wuliang said slowly. Good. Let's do it. The old goat said excitedly. Your devouring array disc and my great Dao ancestral symbol should work together to cut off the connection for a moment. It should be enough. Let's do it together. Daoist Wuliang's eyes flashed sharply as he said immediately. Boom. The old goat and Taoist Wuliang looked at each other. In an instant, blazing light gushed out from their bodies. The sky-devouring disc array spun and rose into the air. Like a huge glazed bowl, it instantly covered the chaos altar. The old goat also soared across the sky and stood on the devouring array disc. He quickly formed a seal and set up a formation rune that landed on the surrounding sea of life. The old goat was a formation genius. He set up the formation at an extremely fast speed. In the blink of an eye, he had successfully set up hundreds and thousands of formations. Daoist Wuliang was not idle either. The Great Dao ancestral symbol was branded with the traces of 3,000 Great Daos. At this moment, mysterious lines were sketching runes in the void. They intertwined with each other and covered the entire sea of life. Daoist Wuliang's face was solemn. He drew runes in the void. Runes condensed and bloomed with dazzling light. Under the full power of the heaven-devouring disc array and the Great Way ancestral symbol, the light of the primal chaos altar was suppressed almost instantly. The boundless life origin in the sea of life seemed to have been severed as well, unable to charge out of the primal chaos divine hall. You are courting death. The Chaos Emperor, who was fighting with Ling Xiao, had a murderous look in his eyes. He instantly discovered the situation in the Chaos Temple. He did not expect two ants to sneak into the Chaos Temple while he was fighting with Ling Xiao. Scram! The Primal Chaos Emperor bellowed. Terrifying sound waves that contained boundless heavenly might instantly shrouded the Primal Chaos Shrine. The powerful sound waves contained a terrifying power that could destroy one's primordial spirit. At this moment, Daoist Wuliang and the old goat, who were in the Chaos Temple, felt as if they had been struck by lightning. They spat out mouthfuls of blood and their eyes were filled with horror. A mere roar from the Chaos Emperor's doppelganger had seriously injured them. What kind of mighty power was this? Chaos Emperor, it seems that this doppelganger of yours is going to be left behind. Murderous intent flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes as he sneered. Instantly, he leaped forward and unleashed a mighty sovereign's fist, enveloping Emperor Primal Chaos within. He sensed the aura of Daoist Wuliang and the white dragon horse. He also sensed that the Chaos Emperor's vitality and power had been cut off. He immediately understood what was going on and attacked without hesitation. This attack was earth-shattering and gathered the most powerful power of Ling Xiao. The 70% of the power of the Great Dao origin that he had integrated erupted at this moment like a volcanic eruption. The sovereign's fist pierced through the void and destroyed everything. It came from the void and suppressed the Chaos Emperor. Eternal chaos, immortal world. There was a sharp glint in the chaotic emperor's eyes as he uttered ancient and cryptic syllables. He formed a seal with both hands, and as if infinite light and darkness were converging, they condensed into a mysterious chaotic boundary around him, emitting an eternal and immortal light. Fate Ancestor and the other emperors woke up from their shock as if they had just woken up from a dream. They rushed towards the Chaos Temple and their eyes were filled with shock and anger. They had not expected that someone would dare to sneak into the Chaos Temple at this moment. This person was simply courting death. They also understood that if the Chaos Emperor's doppelganger was destroyed, they would be dead for sure. Therefore, they seemed to have gone crazy. They all held their Supreme Emperor weapons and charged towards the old goat and Taoist Wuliang. Boom! Ling Zhao's Dominator's fist instantly landed on the undying world. Resplendent light blossomed, and the transparent barrier trembled violently. Although it looked like it was about to be destroyed at any moment, it still managed to block Ling Zhao's punch. Kill! Ling Zhao roared as the blood energy around him surged. He was like a chaos beast that roared in the sky and shook the sun and moon. His unparalleled fist print destroyed the chaos and spun the starry sky. He threw out hundreds of unparalleled fist prints. The power of the sovereign could destroy everything. Even though the Chaos Emperor was extremely powerful, he could not withstand the power of the sovereign's fist. Kacha! An incomparably crisp sound came from the undying world. Then, it instantly shattered like glass. Ling Zhao's unparalleled fist print did not lose its momentum as it blasted into the Chaos Emperor's chest. Boom! Instantly, a huge bloody hole appeared in the chest of the primal Chaos Emperor. Blood gushed out of his mouth as he was sent flying. Clang! The sky-devouring sword gave off a dazzling sword light. In an instant, it was like a dazzling rainbow that pierced through the void and headed towards the Chaos Emperor's forehead. The sword was extremely sharp and contained the power to pierce through everything. In an instant, it was in front of the Chaos Emperor. Wang! The Chaos Emperor stretched out two fingers that were filled with the color of chaos and caught the sky-devouring sword. Although the sword chi was raging as if it wanted to destroy everything, it stopped at the Chaos Emperor's forehead and could not advance any further. Rumble! At this moment, Taoist Wuliang and the old goat could not withstand the attacks of the Fate Ancestor and the others. They had no choice but to use the Great Tao Ancestral Talisman and the sky-devouring array disc. The seal of the Chaos Temple only lasted for a moment before it was broken. Once again, the mighty life origin gushed out of the Chaos Sacred Hall and surged into the body of the Chaos Emperor, causing his already weak aura to skyrocket in an instant. Ling Zhao, it seems like you are still one step too late. The Chaos Emperor held the sky-devouring sword between two fingers and said indifferently. Is that so? Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a hint of mockery. The unparalleled power of the sovereign erupted from his body. Inside the body of the chaotic emperor, there seemed to be some kind of reaction. A dazzling purple divine sun erupted with power that was as terrifying as a tsunami. The Chaos Emperor's face changed. Hongmeng bead. That's right. Although it is an incomplete Hongmeng bead, it is enough to destroy your avatar. Ling Zhao said indifferently. Rumble. As soon as he finished speaking, there was a sudden clap of thunder. The purple divine sun in the primal Chaos Emperor's body exploded, tearing the primal Chaos Emperor's body into pieces. The sky-devouring sword did not lose its momentum. The sharp sword chi instantly pierced through the Chaos Emperor's forehead. The sword radiance that contained the power of destruction exploded. The Chaos Emperor's avatar could not withstand the blow of the sky-devouring sword. After being hit by the sword, it seemed to have lost all its strength and became illusory. Good move. You hid the Hongmeng bead on the altar. So this is your killing move. I have to say, Ling Zhao, you are the second person I have seen who can hurt me. The Chaos Emperor's avatar left the body of the Chaos Saint and floated in front of Ling Zhao. There was a hint of emotion in his voice. He was about to dissipate. There was no point in continuing the battle. Who was the first person? Ling Zhao asked indifferently. He was also a member of the human tribe. However, he is already dead. The Chaos Emperor said indifferently. The Sky Emperor. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply. Perhaps only the talented Celestial Emperor could hurt the Primal Chaos Emperor. However, Ling Xiao vaguely felt that the Chaos Emperor might have said that the Sky Emperor had hurt his physical body. How powerful was the Sky Emperor to be able to hurt the Chaos Emperor's physical body? Ling Xiao, compared to the Sky Emperor, you are far inferior. He is the most talented person I have seen in countless years. The word genius is not enough to describe him. As for you, you're just lucky. Once you attain your Tao, I'll personally come and take your life. The Chaos Emperor stared at Ling Xiao and said indifferently. Then, his incarnation instantly shattered and turned into nothingness in the void. The Chaos Saint's physical body disappeared with it. Take my life? Ling Xiao smiled indifferently. There was a trace of sharpness in his eyes. Even though the Chaos Emperor's avatar had been destroyed, he did not forget to plant a seed in Ling Xiao's heart before he dissipated. If Ling Xiao was worried and afraid because of this, he might not be able to attain Tao in this lifetime. This was an open and above-board scheme. Unfortunately, Ling Xiao's heart was as strong as steel. This sentence did not affect him at all. The avatar of the Lord Ruler was destroyed by him. The eyes of the Fate Ancestor and the others were filled with disbelief. Their faces instantly turned pale. They felt as if the end of the world had come. Deep in their hearts, they felt a great fear of death. They had painstakingly set up all kinds of traps and even asked the Chaos Saint to summon the Lord Ruler. However, they did not expect that all of this would be useless against Ling Xiao. The Great Formation was broken, the Chaos Saint was defeated, and the Chaos Emperor's avatar was destroyed. Ling Xiao had destroyed all of their arrangements with an unstoppable force. And now, they finally felt true fear. Do you want to live or die? Ling Xiao stared indifferently at the Fate Ancestor and the others and said slowly. However, Ling Xiao's voice was like the sound of nature to them, causing them to reveal an expression of ecstasy. We want to live, we want to live. Lord Ling Xiao, we are willing to join the Heavenly Court and be loyal to you from now on. We will never betray you. Lord Ling Xiao, as long as you spare our lives, we are willing to do anything. The Imperial Emperors, led by the Fate Ancestor, hurriedly bowed to Ling Xiao. Their faces were filled with uncertainty. Ling Xiao, what's the use of these fence-sitters? Why don't we just kill them all? The old goat and Taoist Wu Yang flew over and landed beside Ling Xiao. They sneered. Even if you are trash, you have your uses. Now, hand over your origin spirit imprints and swear a great Tao oath to be loyal to the Heavenly Court, to the human race, and to me. You will never betray me. I can spare your lives. Ling Xiao stared at the Fate Ancestor and the others and said indifferently. It was easy to kill these people, but their strength was extraordinary. They were all powerful imperial emperors. To the human race, one more expert was one more power. Although Ling Xiao did not like them, he decided to spare their lives. The apex.